Rest on. Ding ding, round 2, Dublin Racing Festival. A double Dublin bubble coming your way. A little bit of a breather here for us today. Yesterday was frantic stuff, wasn't it? We got Musselburgh as well. Day 2 of their great meeting up there. We'll be popping up for a couple of races. Plenty of action at Leopardstown. We already have one underway. The good thing won the first party central. Who was on? Let us know. This is an interactive show. Of course, myself, Dave Orton, back. Love doing these Sunday shows. Happy days. Get involved if you're watching on YouTube. Do like and subscribe, of course. Facebook Live. Let us know you're out there. Let's have it. We've got a bit more of a breather in between the races today. We can reflect on some unbelievable action yesterday. And, of course, we've got the Queen coming out. How are you playing her? Honeysuckle. Are you getting her in some multiples? So far, it's been the Willie Mullins show, isn't it? We've had, 9 races so far. It's gone to 4 trainers between them. Wonderful 4-timer. Business as we know it yesterday. Will it be the same going forward? Let's hear from you. Anything on Twitter, #RP Live. Right, let's get down the panellists for you. Delighted to say Batch is back with us. Mattie, Batch.
Hi, Dave.
Feeling the vibe?
Yeah, great weekend racing. Good day for the Moors yesterday. Great for Deutsche to win his first Grade 1. Brilliant.
You had to get that in, didn't
Yes.
you? Your horse is coming good.
Yes, I liked him. He won well yesterday. Yeah.
Now, if you don't know, it was the double for the owners, wasn't it? Of course, Oh My Goshen won again, showed his true colours.
Yes.
But in the first... What's the horse's name? I never.
Shall we have another one?
Shall we have another one?
Yeah.
Who, if you were watching, regular viewers will know, when he got beaten at Ascot on his debut, we asked Batch, have you got one for the Cheltenham Festival? And this was your horse, wasn't it? And I thought you were a bit mad, to be honest. He pulled his way out of contention behind Constitution Hill. They let him rip on some better ground yesterday, and he might be a supreme bound horse.
Yeah, he jumped well, and it's great for the owner because he's a local lad. We all know him, and it's for Packham, and he's such a good loser as well as a good winner, you know. So it's when you
learn
got
more
owners,
from the losses.
Yeah,
don't
when
you
you got owners like that, you wish them all the luck in the world.
Yeah, fancy a few today?
Yeah, a few. I mean, there's obviously a few shorties, but I've got one each way, big price that I fancy later on in Leopardstown. So
beautiful. All right, we'll be getting that from Batch soon. Double bubble it is for Graeme Rodway, who sits in the corner, pressing buttons today again for Betfair.
Yeah, I'll be doing the trading for Ryan today, so I'm looking forward to it, Dave. Day 2 of the DRF, as it was called.
Yeah, the DRF, which, if you like your American racing, is confusing because that's the daily racing form, isn't it? So
that's right.
I don't know. I think they need to find another abbreviated name for it, personally.
Yeah. I don't think we saw many Cheltenham Festival winners yesterday, Dave. I didn't think that there were that many good winners at Leopardstown, so hopefully today we'll get all the stars out. I mean, there was a weird result to the big race, wasn't there?
Well,
inflated.
Yeah, not if you were Tom Segal and Paul Keeley, of course. Loads of love out there for them. Now, you just got a sneak preview there of who's doing the trading for Betfair today. We've let Barry Orr go on to course. And his able deputy, Ryan McHugh, is really becoming well established on this show now. Let's have a look. Iron Ryan, here he is. Oh, we didn't even get him there, though. We nearly chopped him off again. Where's he gone, boys, in the gallery?
We can bring that down. I think that's a better introduction, actually, when I start off. You can't really see me, and then it comes in. I come into view. Maybe that's my my walk-on show or walk-on move. But yeah, really looking forward to today. Obviously, as Graeme said, Honeysuckle, we have on Gallop on the Champ. I'm probably more looking forward to seeing Gallop on the Champ than Honeysuckle, to be fair. Just given we know what Honeysuckle can do. And obviously Gallop on the Champ was really impressive on his chase debut. And if he can do something similar today, stepped up to Grade 1 company, of course, I think that'll be something to behold.
Okay, great stuff. All right, there's Ryan floating around then. We'll try and build his screen a bit better and get like normal. We've already had a bit of fun with the chairs in here, haven't we? We're in a good mood in here, guys out there. Again, let us know you're out there. But Mattie Batch has switched chairs with G. Came in here sneakily, and because normally you're sinking down, aren't you?
Yeah, I normally have a dodgy
One of the producers,
earpiece.
Carl, came in and went, hang on a minute, your chair's come down a bit. So if you see G floating down a little bit, it's not his ego finally being burst. It's that Batch is playing silly buggers
I'll
a
never
little
be
bit.
burst, that.
Yeah, all right. So, look, we've already had one race at Leopardstown. We're cooking with gas. What was the highlight of yesterday? What's the nap today? Did we see any Cheltenham Festivals winner in waiting yesterday at Leopardstown? Or was it all about Long Press, of course, our Grade 1 winner, and Ahoy Senor? Wasn't he special? Looked it, didn't he? Very much so. I've got a feeling that Taunton yesterday at Wetherby might throw up some good form going forward as well. Ryan, I believe you've got some business to get out of the way as well, haven't you? We like to do a multiple on the sportsbook. So, our sponsors, take it away.
Yeah, we'll start off with £1 each way, lucky 15, if Graeme can do the honours, please. I'm going to go for 3 in Leopardstown and then 1 across on Musselburgh in a race we're covering. The 3 in Leopardstown, Graeme, I'm going to start with the 120 coming up. I think it's a decent enough each way race to play in, given the favourites 1 to 2 in the race. So we're going to throw in Capadano and Das in the race that we're looking through first.
Yeah.
He's second favourite behind Gallop on the Champ. Then we'll move on then to the 225. We're paying an extra place on the sportsbook. 10-10 is my selection in that.
10-10, okay.
Then sticking at Leopardstown to make it a bit easier. The 335, 3-stripe life. I'm going to go for against Sir Gerhard. Again,
I like
it's probably hard to oppose Sir Gerhard, but just it's a price thing. I can't back him at odds on.
He's going to get beat today.
Yeah, well, maybe he will, but I think 3-stripe life is just is a solid each way against him. And then the last selection in the 315 of Musselburgh, I don't know if the ground is going to be quick enough for the Mouse Doctor, but he's a horse I like. He beat the Musselburgh once when he was trained by Tony Martin, and he won over hurdles around there. So I think the track suits him, and I think he's solid enough for the places, although he might run into one, given he's off a mark high enough of 129, but I think he'll run well all the same. So £1 each way, lucky 15, and hopefully we can get a few quid for the charity.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Of course, it's racing welfare. You can see, look, we're waiting for the graphics to actually put a penny in the meter, boys. I know it's Sunday, but I think we don't usually do these double. We've got some festivals coming up. We need to do days in a row. We'll get it back on track for you. Don't worry about that. Look, we've got Galloping de Champs coming up, haven't we? And this is one, I think, even away from, all the big hitters that have come out, the Irish Gold Cup batch and even Honeysuckle today, this is the one that people are really waiting to see what he can do, because around Leopardstown at Christmas time, despite everything that was going on, we gave him a Racing Post rating of 163. The biggies haven't even done that, and by the biggies I mean Sprint, Sacra, Duvan, Altior, Shishkin. None of them, Energumene, none of them have done it on their first start over fences. This bloke did. Do we believe what we see? The form has got substance, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I was raving about him when I watched him, and from a jockey's perspective as well, it's the way he jumps, Dave. He just does it. Again, he's just so naturally good, and he makes it look easy. He won the boys' race last year at the festival. He won a Grade 1 hurdle at Leopardstown, and the way he jumps fences, he just keeps improving. And these are the sort of horses that you want to keep winning and sort of just bigging up their reputation. He's phenomenal, I think.
G, are you backing that one up?
I thought he jumped well. I'm not sure that he's a superstar yet. He's 163 first time out RPR, which obviously is very, very high. I think that's too high, personally. I think that there's horses in here who have probably got better form than him, and I think he's got a bit to prove. But
Are you suggesting he's a very short... I mean, this is very Rodway-like, isn't it? To kind of look at this. You're not keen on Shaken later, are you? You've got Shaken Passoir coming out, of course.
Oh, I think there's some flimsy old favourites on this card, on this Leopardstown card, Dave. This being the first one. I mean, he looks very good, but it's all based on one run over fences. How many times have we seen this before? Horses come out, they look brilliant first time up against absolutely nothing. I mean, the horse that he beat, albeit 22 lengths, got beat next time out, 5-4 favourite. I'm not saying he isn't any good. He's obviously got a huge amount of potential, but he's 1-2 on the back of one run, I think, and I think that he's opposable.
Right, okay, there you go. All right, opposable then, Galloping de Champs. Gordon Elliott, of course, took out the big race yesterday. It's good to have them back duelling again, isn't it, I suppose? We all know what happened last year. Gordon, of course, missed the festival. He's already had a winner at Cheltenham twice this season, we should say that, but he'll be coming back. It's a little bit like Man United without Man City, isn't it, when... at the Cheltenham Festival, lots has been said about that. Gordon's second chance, he's come back absolutely firing. The best that, he's not been champion trainer in Ireland yet. It's a matter of time before when it happens, but there's some operation now. What did we make of Facile Vega yesterday? The bumper winner.
I was very impressed. I was listening to Ted Walsh this morning, and he said it's the best bumper horse he's seen in 20 years, and he's seen a few in his time, and a few bubbles were burst yesterday because... like the big Doyen and the other Elliott horse that got beat, and I was impressed with it, G.
Can we just say that it's good to see Ted Walsh taking a leaf out of the Rodway book, isn't it, and going in big with a big statement about horse. This is the best bump horse he's seen in 25 years. Now, Ted doesn't really go overboard too often, does he? So make of that what you will. But the one thing that after that sort of statement and that sort of performance yesterday is that this horse is going to be very short.
Yeah.
Wherever it turns up next time out. And as a value-oriented punter, you're automatically looking for reasons to knock it, aren't you?
Well, absolutely. So, shall we concentrate on the first race then? It is, of course, the Ladbrokes Novice Chase Grade 1 coming up. Galloping de Champs. Who believes in him? Which race is he going to go for? We're going to find out that now, aren't we? There's been a little bit of rain towards the back end of the card yesterday. You'd have seen that at Leopardstown. And a little bit more testing than normal, isn't it? Tom Segal in his great column last night, the Price-Wise followers, you know, if you're in your members section, you would have seen that he said, I think I'm not, you know, a bit worried about the ground. Your big hope is on the drift, isn't it? My mate Mozzie, who Barry touched you up about that yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, my mate Mozzie. We love my mate Mozzie, don't we? I think he'll win today, but a few people seem to be taking him on because there's been a bit of rain overnight, Dave, and the ground, he would ideally prefer good ground, but I'm never a huge ground player, as you know, Dave. Yes,
No.
if it's bog heavy, then of course you have to take it in consideration. If it's rattling quick, you have to take in consideration. But we're talking about yielding going. Everything should be able to handle this.
Okay. Are you going to take on this big fav then, Galopin Des Champs?
No, I'm a big fan of
You
it.
just think he wins?
Yeah, I think he wins. I think you just look for one that finished second, and I've picked out Fury Road. First time cheek pieces on. I think you've got to find the forecast. For me, I think he's the real deal. I really do.
All right, listen, we had some gremlins earlier. If you're just joining us, welcome along. You'll see that Batch and G-Rod and Ryan McHugh from Betfair are with us along the way. Sun's shining, Ryan, over there. Isn't there? Lots been said about the ground leading into this. No complaints yesterday, though, were there? And today.
No, yeah, and they got rain at probably the right time last night just to give it that bit more juice in the ground. They've been watering since the start of January, I believe. So, no, they've got it spot on in fairness to them, and there's been not many non-runners over the 2 days, which is good to see. Especially the bigger named horses, they haven't been taken out. So it's been great to see in that respect that we've got full fields mainly. Galopin Des Champs, yeah, he's very strong in the market. 4-7 he opened up into 8-15. He's now 1-2 in the exchange. 1.5 Galopin Des Champs. Capadano's the only real threat to him in the market. He's 9.4, and then it's 15 bar the 2. So punters can only see Capadano maybe getting close to Galopin Des Champs. I can see reasons why people would want to take him on, given that run was in a beginner's chase and he kind of got his own way and things like that. It's going to be trickier for him today, obviously. And although he won at the festival last year, it was the Martin Pipe at the end of the day. It wasn't a grade 1. But I can see why people would want to take him on at that price and maybe think that that run is maybe too good to be true to be giving him a price of 4-9 in the grade 1 novice chase and just a second start over fences. But some punters don't seem to care. They're taking the 149 at the moment. He's strengthening up all the time. But my bet in the race is going to be Capadano without. I think he's very solid. I think he's around a 2-1. He's 9-4 now, actually, on the shade. You're going to have £50 on him, Graeme, please. He hit the line really strong the last day, over 2.5 miles. He looks like a 3-miler to me. I wouldn't put people off backing him for the festival novices chasing before this run. I think if he gets beat by Galopin Des Champs and finishes a clear second, I think it'll still be a decent performance. He ran behind Bob Oringer, as I said the last time. He steps up a furlong and a half and trip, which will really suit him. And although he didn't have too many starts over hurdles, he's definitely improved as a chaser on what we've seen so far. I think he can reach a decent level over fence. He's still only a 6-year-old and has looked a kind of a raw sort over hurdles. He won at the Punchdown Festival handicap hurdle last season. So I think Capadano will chase home Galopin Des Champs, but I kind of agree with Graeme in the aspect that I wouldn't be taking 1.47, nearly 4-9 now Galopin Des Champs. He looks short enough to me at that.
All right, okay, there we go. This is going to be make or break time. Lots of people, of course, got him on the anti-post lists. Oh, will you be hiding behind the sofa? Or are you just expecting a Corto-like performance? Is this going to be absolute elegance here? Nureyev, like, I mean, he didn't put foot wrong, did he? Of course, we know he goes at the track. Which race would you see him going for? Do you think he's a stayer?
I don't know. I thought he had a bit of speed last time. He could go for the 2 mile free race, couldn't he? The Turner's Novice Chase is called now. 2 mile free, yeah.
Turner. People always struggle with this Turner's thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Still, it's registered as the Golden Miller, obviously, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots been said about it. Obviously, the sponsorships need their,
Yeah.
must be giving them the headlines. But
yeah.
what's wrong with the Turner's Golden Miller or something like that? Should it be that? I mean, I'd be one for that, personally.
I think people associate these races with the name, so I think you could incorporate. Obviously, you've got to incorporate the new sponsors, but you have to incorporate the old name a bit because that's what people know, isn't it?
Was it last year? We had the something multiple game spirit from Betfair on there. Coming up, of course.
About 2 paragraphs before you get to the action.
Yeah. So, and something that Barry teased us with, of course, yesterday is that Brave Man's Game is going to be entered, isn't he? So it's Ascot next week, isn't it?
Yes.
Where else is it next week? Where else will we? Ascot, and I should know.
So, yeah, the Reynolds-Town.
Well, you'd think it would be the Reynolds-Town, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't think he'd be thinking Betfair Chase with him, would he?
No,
Brave Man's
not
Game.
Ascot
Not
Chase
yet.
or whatever.
Not-
No. And then
yeah.
you've got Newbury after that. But he's going to need
Ascot
another.
Chase,
I think it's very Nichols-like to give him another run, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah,
Hoyson, you're giving him a massive boost yesterday, didn't he? So
Yeah, he
Yeah.
won well, yeah. The
it
second
was a
horse,
massive boost, wasn't
the
it?
second horse ran well as well. But what was the second horse? The Irish horse.
Noble Yates.
Noble Yates,
yes,
yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
Sneaky eye catcher for Paul Byrne in those colours of the shunter. The shunter comes out to play a little bit later on. I fancy him in the handicap. What's that? 255, I think, isn't it, from memory? I thought I could see him running well. I was a bit surprised he's not in these graded races yet. I think that's why McManus probably bought him. But yeah, Noble Yates, look at that back anyway. Have we done the RPRs yet for these horses yesterday? I know it's a bit quick of a turnaround, isn't it?
I doubt they would have been done yet, Dave, but they will be working.
Do you have one of your
right now.
beavering, studious Zoom calls on Monday morning going, right, let's nail these
If it was
RPRs?
the flat, yeah, if it was the flat, Melrose and I would be getting together tomorrow morning. But being Jump, Steve Mason and Matt Gardner, who you had in the studio the other day, I think we'll both be working on them today. I would have thought.
Yeah, like Matt Gardner, he's a new. Well, I say he's new. He's been with us since August. He's a handicapper, so all these figures, the RPR guys, we're going to try and incorporate them a little bit more. You get the BHA and you get the Irish guys. They don't often put their head above the parapet, do they?
No.
We're going to get.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Steve
a few
Mason.
more questions.
Steve Mason's the best handicapper around by none.
Yeah, one of the best tipsters we've got here by a mile. That was some tipping yesterday, wasn't it? Conflated, really.
What,
On the Friday night from Tom
Siegel
Keels.
and Paul Keeley.
And if it wasn't just one of those kind of like lucky ones, was it? It was. They genuinely looked at it like every horse has got something to prove. This is coming on a. I don't think we could quite see him winning like that, could we? But it was a great tip.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Would he go for a national, do you think?
Well, I thought he was national bound. I'm not going to be honest. I don't think he is now.
No?
Will he stay in the Gold Cup? There's an extra 2 furlongs in it. He definitely won it with speed.
Well, if they thought he was going to win a Grand National, then you'd be hopeful he was.
Yeah.
He had run over the trip before behind Monkfish, but he just didn't turn up. But most of his best form was over 2 mile 4. And that turn of foot was what won it for him yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He sort of bungled the last a bit, didn't he? But Minella Indo came back to form as well, didn't he? I reckon he goes off Fav now in the Gold Cup. What about you? I think all the Cheltenham money.
And the extra trip at the Cheltenham will suit him better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a Gold Cup horse. Conflated, really.
Do you think he just sums up the race a
I
bit?
just think it was a weird.
The better horse finished second, I think.
Yeah, I think that.
The Savile still looks like the race, doesn't it? Ken Boyd didn't look like he was enjoying leading yesterday. So
You know what?
not leading. Sorry. So.
I haven't given up on Chantry House yet, Dave.
Oh, come on.
I actually don't think that was that bad a performance looking back at it. Santini ran very well, and Santini was second in the Gold Cup at his best.
I didn't.
You can't
think
jump
I
like
would
that
hear
though, G, and go. You can't jump like that and win a Gold Cup. I don't
Yeah,
think.
they go strong pace in that Gold Cup. He'd be staying on really strong.
All right. Okay, we're digressing a little bit, but there's so much to. We can do that on this
Anyway,
Sunday.
if this Capodano wins this race, then that spells trouble for all the British in the Turners, doesn't it? Because Bob Ollinger basically slammed this horse, didn't he, last time out, Capodano, with a mile back to the rest.
We got a few pelters yesterday for suggesting that Long Press might give him something to think about. I think there was a lot of people like, come on, what are they doing about it? Hey, we got the graphics up. There we go. It only took 19 minutes, but the penny's been in the meter. The guys could see them through the gallery going like this sort of thing. The Sunday session is resumed. Happy days.
This Bob Ollinger's like almost untouchable, isn't he? Like if you say anything against him, you're.
Well, we had that. We had this with Envoy LN, didn't we, last season? And we all know how that turned out. Look, at the end of the day, we're trying to bring some balance to it, really. And of course, we've got these shows to make.
He's obviously an absolute monster, isn't he? He's obviously got a monstrous engine.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, when he won last time, though, it wasn't until the final fence where I went, whoa.
Well, to me, Long Press looks like he's got a monstrous engine and all.
Wasn't it great for Charlie Deutsch yesterday, Batch, as well?
Brilliant, yeah, great lad.
Yeah, you know him well, don't you? And you have a bit of banter with him and all that sort of thing.
Do you know what? He's one of those. He's got a dry sense of humour, but he's a very funny man. Yeah. Oh, they've
They're
jumped
off and
off.
running then at Leopardstown. We'll get back to that. That was the Silly Isles yesterday. But guess what? It's Grade 1 action here at Leopardstown as well. And as you can see, he's pretty short. Well, I'll tell you what, Capodano had a look at that one. But the short thing is sitting in second place, galloping to shop. Doesn't have to do his own donkey work today. That is courtesy of French Dynamite. Right out the back is Fighter Hélène, an outsider for Mullins, but a decent horse in his own right. Again, keep your eyes on these beaten horses in these races. They are going to be going for handicaps, they're going to be going for lesser races, Aintree, all that sort of thing. So very important. Master McShay fancied at a price by some. Tom Segal put that up, didn't he? Tom is having some season, didn't he? He had a little bit of look at the second. Of course, for the Corkery stable. Looking for Fury Road. Where's he? Tom also put this up, of course, for the Brown Advisor at the festival.
White cap.
He's the white cap on the outside. He's, again, very, very talented hurdler. Taking him a little while to get back. Really, really good training to get him where he is at the moment. Jack Kennedy, of course, who now looks like he might be coming in for a proper Gold Cup ride. Lost the Manila Indo ride, of course. That's gone to Puppy Power. And it now looks like he's going to be on Conflated, doesn't it? Gee, what do you reckon of the pace? What are your early impressions?
Yeah, I thought they were going a fairly decent pace, Dave. This French Dynamite in front, isn't it? The big outsider. Galopin de Champ very long at the second fence, but measured the next one quite well. They're all going well as you would expect after, what is this, the full fence? Galopin de Champ, he's quite long at that. Again, he's quite a sort of
That's what you call
exuberant
scope,
jumper.
wouldn't it?
Scope,
If you're in the
that,
industry,
yeah.
you say that's scope. Let's talk about scope. Let's go to Iron Ryan then. Well, he's gone even shorter.
Yeah, and I can imagine the way he's travelling. He's going to be in front soon, the way he's jumping and travelling. 1.38 in running, having BSP at 1.46. So punters are happy with his position in running. I'd say after this fence, Paul Townend will elect to go on and take the lead off French Dynamite. Not much change in the rest of their prices. Beacon Edge made a few scrappy mistakes earlier on. He's out to 18.5. But if you're on Galopin de Champ, no early worries, I don't think.
You can see why Ruby was saying that they might go for the shorter race. He is quite keen, isn't he? He's tanking along Galopin de Champ.
I can see Hugh Masson on the chat.
Ooh,
What happened there? Who went?
Capodanno's
Capodanno.
unseated.
There you go. A lot of people are expecting that for the forecast in the without market. A little bit of a new one. Isn't it great to see? Look at that crowd at Leopardstown.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is magnificent,
Edge.
isn't it? Beacon Edge is
Oh.
gone. Okay, he's down, unfortunately. We're getting eventful, aren't we? The one who's just staying out of all the trouble, of course, is Galopin de Champ. Now, look at Galliard de Menil. He's been a little bit forgotten about, hasn't he? He's disappointed in his first two starts, but of course, he won the opening race on this festival, the 2 mile 6 Novice
He
Hurdle.
was second to Bob Ollinger.
He was second to Bob Ollinger.
Last
So,
year.
Oh, yeah.
again, could he be one? And as we saw in the first race yesterday, these Mullins second strings, they don't know what price they are. They're all pretty much worldies. You'd love them in your stable. Is there fresh ground out there, Hugh Masson? Yes, there is. Always on this, they go a little bit wider, so the chasers have got a lovely bit of fresh ground. I hope that answers you. Great that I can see the chats up there as well. We'll give you a shout shortly. Well, it's a case of when, isn't it, Batch? He just takes and presses the button on Galopin de Champ.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. The loose horse would worry him a little bit, but as long as that's out the way, he's got a target in Rachel's horse, and he's just enjoying it, Paul. Come out of his hands again there.
Who was that? Fury Road had a look at that one, didn't he?
Galopin de Champ was just a little bit long again at that.
Yeah, I tell you what, you're waiting with bated breath here for someone to beat you.
I
I know what you're like, G.
I think
You've got to be very careful here that you don't become partisan, I'm telling you.
I think he could get beat.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm not
I'm
sure
not
about
sure
that.
it's going that well.
Gallopin, I wonder whether we
There
see
you go,
Gaillard
G.
de-
Look at that. How
I'll tell you
class
what,
was
Gaillard
that?
de Menil just doesn't look like a natural chaser to me. And I remember speaking to Patrick at the start of the season, and they were umming and ahhing about running him in the stayers. It wouldn't totally surprise me if we might just yet see him over hurdles at the festival. Of course, he's got 5 to negotiate here still, and he might have a say. I might be wishful thinking there. French Dynamite going well up front, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think
travelling
he's
well,
dropping
yeah.
back, isn't he now?
Not
Galopin's gone on. Galopin de Champ's gone on now.
Hang on. No, he hasn't. Where is
Yes,
this?
he's in front now.
Is this
Galopin de Champ in front.
Is this 2 out, Ryan?
No, this is 3 out, I think.
3 out.
Oh,
Yeah, 3 out
Fury.
and French Dynamite. Now Gallopin's gone on.
Here we go.
Right, Fury Road's having a shake of the reins. Now Gaillard de Menil
Should
is
be
showing his
interesting
class
from
in
here,
between the
Dave.
fences. Master McShay's going well. And keep your eyes on Fighter Alen as well. He's a very interesting horse for one of the handicaps, I think. Right, this is 2 out. Could be a tricky fence.
No, I think this is 3 out.
This
isn't
is
it?
where I think this is 2 out, isn't it? This is where Shaq and Paul Suarez
look
is
at
so
that one
good.
there.
Whoa! Now that's scope.
Oh, that is scope.
It's not often that Batchy gives the old hoo-ha like that, I can tell you. That was 2
Master McShee's still going well here, Dave. He's not got him off the
This is
bridle yet.
listen, they believe in this horse, and actually the trainer said, didn't he, to us in the post, this thing could beat Galopin
This
de
is 2
Champ.
out.
Here we
It's
go.
jumped by
Fury Road
Gallopin.
on the inside is
Yeah,
the
moved
stayer.
the muscle.
He's out of his
Cruising.
comfort zone.
Look at
Gallopin
this.
de Champ and Master McShay
So
look
is
like
Master
they're the ones to
though.
beat. That
Master's
was
going well.
indeed 2
No,
out.
we
Okay,
go.
they're turning
It's
in.
all over.
Press the button then,
It's
Paul.
all
What are we
over.
going to see here? Now we want to see something impressive, don't we?
Go on.
Has he got it, G?
What's he
Here we
got?
go.
Remember, Monkfish had to work hard in this last year. Gaillard de Menil's the real stayer as well,
they
isn't he?
are,
You can
yes.
see what they're thinking
Yeah,
about
he's
the
got
2
a bit
mile
half
4 for
speed.
this
He's only
horse.
gone half speed. He's
What have we
going
got
well.
at the last then? It can be a tricky fence. We saw Conflated nearly walk through it last time. They're walking, only 3
Here we
metres.
go.
Very
Last.
good jump there.
Yeah.
He's off and he's running.
He's
away.
Gaillard de Menil again wasn't great there. Oh, that's an interesting horse, this. And now the
Here
chassis
we go.
is let gone, and we see what we see. Very interesting. He's obviously a proper galloper, isn't he, this chap? He's now 2 from 2. I wonder what the figure will be. Master McShay's run an extremely good race. Still looks a little bit experienced to my eye. Not quite so much as Gaillard de Menil in 3rd. Has anything else finished? That would be the question. Not sure. Ryan, was there any spike at all, or did those wily exchange players always know?
Yeah, he was into 1.21 after the exit of Capodanno and Beacon Edge. So he just kept shortening all the time. He hit about 1.08 with 2 to jump, coming to the last. Punters were always in control, really. He shortened all the time. And I just liked that the last way, he kind of got in a little bit tight, but never really touched the fence at all. It just goes to show you how clever he is. He can be exuberant, but he also has that capability of getting in tight to a fence and getting away quick. 5.7 was the in-running low for Master McShee, who ran an absolute cracker to finish 2nd in the race. Obviously, people are going to say now we lost Capodanno, Beacon Edge, Fury Road didn't produce what he produced at Leopardstown at Christmas. But Galopin des Champs is obviously a really, really good horse, and he'll take a lot of beating wherever he goes in Cheltenham, obviously.
Yeah, very much so. Let us know, where does he go? He did look a bit vulnerable, G, didn't he? But again, he powered on. Be very surprised if he doesn't go to the old RSA,
he was
really.
very impressive, I thought, Dave.
You could run him over any trip, Batch, couldn't you, really, this chap?
You could, I think. He has got a bit of speed, hence why you had the exuberant jumps early doors, because Paul's just trying to sort of keep a lid on him. He's trying to travel a little bit quicker than Paul wanted to. I think he's got in the back of his mind that it is a bit softer ground than what he won on last time, so he's holding him back. Hence, that's why he kept coming out of his hands, because he's got plenty of scope. He knows the job. And I wouldn't be surprised if Paul said, I think he would appreciate better ground, because he just seemed to, just a little bit, sort of when you're trying to run on a pebble beach, you're just not getting anywhere quick. I think it just looked a little bit like that to me.
Well, so would you have a crack at Bob Ollinger, or would you say no? I mean, look, the reason why these trainers are so good, Gordon Elliott and Willie Mullins, is they put them in the rock. We saw it with Craig all the time, didn't we? You could run her in a world hurdle as it was at the time, but go in the races they can win. That's why they run to the crap mares in the mares races. Do you think he'll go 3 miles? Because there's still an umming and ahhing whether Brave Man Game even goes to the festival.
On the run today, I'd stick with the shorter trip.
Would you now?
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Can't wait to see what comments are coming out of this. Didn't he come up there? We're watching him as a go past there. Now, come on, you've taken a little time. That 163 now looks like it's bona fide pretty much, doesn't it?
I don't think he'd be given any bigger than 163
Definitely
for that
not.
win.
Definitely not.
The second Master McShee was 155 going into that race.
Yeah.
So if you say that Master McShee's run to 155, Galopin des Champs probably run to somewhere along the same lines as his first run, 163 to 164 in that region, which is obviously still very, very high for a novice chaser. But from 163 first time out, he didn't really have that much scope to go any higher, really, unless Capodano ran him very, very close. But
What was the time like? Do we know the time?
not sure yet.
We'll wait for it to come in, because we've had one race over hurdles, haven't we? We'll keep an eye on it. What do you reckon of the ground then? I mean, again, a lot of people have moaned about the ground here, haven't they? And some big players have missed out. Bob Ollinger, etc.
The way it looks fine, but the way they finished, I think it could be just on the easy side, obviously. And I think a couple of them have finished out the back like they're sort of struggling in it a little bit.
Yeah, all right, okay.
I think he's very good, Dave. But do you think that if Lon Press had been in that race, he might have won it just as easily? It was only Master McShee in second, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So a lot of people yesterday said, well, Pic Dory was in second, he didn't beat anything. But, Master McShee's not exactly a superstar, is he?
Let's not forget, a lot of judges yesterday thought Pic Dory was going to be the real deal, wasn't he? And I think he just ran his race, didn't he, Pic Dory? He jumped beautifully, Pic Dory, for a long race.
It was going to be a great race at Cheltenham. If Galopin des Champs, Bob Ollinger and Lon Press turn up, that will be the race.
The other thing that will be in Mullins' mind, before we move on to Musselburgh, we've got their Triumph trial coming up. The other thing that will be in their mind is the last couple of winners they've had of the RSA. In fact, the old RSA, the Brian Advisory, it's been a bit of an injury list, isn't it? It's been a bit of a, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you've seen what happened to Monkfish, So,
I would.
It's a tough
I wouldn't
race.
run him there. If I own Galopin des Champs, I'd want
2 ticks for the Turners.
Yeah.
I'd go for the
Two ticks for the Turners. Let us know what you think out there. Are you going Turners? Which one are you backing for? What are you hoping? What are the prices? Okay, we've just seen Class. We know that for sure. And there are 2 favourites in the first 2 races of the Dublin Racing Festival, the DRF. Let's go up to Musselburgh. It was a tricky day there yesterday. Ryan McHugh, how did you see this going? I was hoping Calvados might pour it on.
Yeah, I'll just update you with Andy Budd's price off the back of that, Dave. So we're 13-8 on the sportsbook from 2-1 for the Festival Novices Chase, and we went 15-8 from 9-4 for the Turners. Personally, if it was mine, I'd probably avoid Bob Ollinger and Lon Press and go for the longer race, given he's probably going to turn into a Gold Cup horse at some stage, and probably worth a try, given he should stay the trip, no problem. But that's what we are anyway in the sportsbook, updated on Galopin des Champs. This Musselburgh race, totally different. We're going to a 4-year-old juvenile listed hurdle now. I think Intendu looks a big enough price to me. Worth taking a chance. I was bought for €100,000 privately out of France. And obviously John McConnell has done well this year with the likes of Calvados, and the Irish juveniles have been very good. I think 18 is a big price in the win market. So I'm going to have 25, please, Graeme, win at 18. And I'm going to back it in the 3-place market as well at around 11-4. I think that's a bit of value, given this is not the strongest race, in fairness. Inca Prince is well backed overnight. 4.5 is the biggest that was matched at overnight. He's now into 2.7 to make it a hat-trick of wins. Impulsive 1 is second in at 2.86, and Calvados then in a 10-do. Stablemate is in there at 10.5. But for me, a €100,000 purchase in a 10-do was a winner in France on a couple of occasions. I think that can outrun its price, and I'm going to have 25 each, or 25 win, I should say, and 25 in the 3-place market, which I think is a decent market to bet in, given there's only 7 runners.
Ryan seems to think I've got the wrong McConnell horse there. He had a winner there yesterday. He's such a good target trainer, isn't he? Especially up there at Musselburgh. I can see again, Hugh Masson. I keep seeing what you're saying in the chat out there, old boy. Nichols has pulled his 2 Musselburgh runners today, of course, isn't he? Interesting. Houston, we might have a problem there. Of course, don't forget with Barry on Monday, they're doing now Natters with Nichols, aren't they? You can see that on Betfair's Twitter site every Monday morning. Be a very, very interesting chat, I would imagine, tomorrow, that one. How do you see this going? Calvados for me?
Impulsive one for me. I just thought, his form behind Porticello and Night Salute, good form. Inca Prince, yes, you can't knock his form, but was she actually beaten? So he needs to go and prove it today. Yeah, for me, impulsive one, just for the 3rd place at Donny behind them 2 horses.
G?
This was one of the 1-2 races today I was going to sit out, Dave. I don't like these races. They're very, very difficult.
Posty wasn't... we had Charlie Post in this seat yesterday. He wasn't over the moon with you, was he? He was like, just put one up, man.
Yeah.
Have an opinion, he was saying. Can
I
do that, he was saying, Dave, in the office. I said, well...
Can he put up no bet?
No, he was, can I just come in and say, I don't fancy that. It's not a day I want to have a bet, really.
There's lots of good bets today, but this is a terrible
No, but listen, we should, of course, counter that. Listen, safe gambling out. There's loads of races. I'll tell you what, I'm glad that I didn't bet in every race yesterday because I wouldn't have called it. That's for sure. Look, so, okay, good luck to you out there, wherever you're playing this. Great to have you along. Sunday service is resumed. Every Saturday we go again in 2022 and all the big festivals. Not long till Cheltenham now. All right then, Sonning takes it up then. Still an interesting horse this for me, Sonning. Of course, Rallan King, Adrian Hesking, the McMinnell family well represented up there, aren't they? Having another great season up there. They got a well-fancied runner, of course, in the Supreme Trial a little bit later on. Looking for Bullseye. This is an interesting horse because he's a flat horse and doesn't he know it? He's pulling like a cart for Ian Jardine. Impulsive one. Nice toe. Beautiful toe, actually, at the moment. Calvados being held up in the first time heard. Looking for the Fav at the moment. Where is he, Inca Prince? Oh, yeah, nice and keen up front, isn't he, Batch?
Yeah, he's running with the choke out a little bit. My one settled really nicely. But, yeah, they're going to 35 mile an hour.
Oh, that's high, isn't it?
Very generous.
Yeah,
nice to see Ruth Jefferson have a favourite on a good high-profile day. Of course, she lost weight impatiently, didn't she? And it's been a tough time for her, I think, up there, taking over the reins from her late father Malcolm, a legend of the Northern Circuits. But 3 have gone well clear here. Now, if you're on the back numbers now at the minute, Batch, what are you thinking to yourself? Because you believe this is the fastest track in Europe.
It's one of the fastest tracks, yeah, definitely. They can get away from here, so they're either not quick enough to go with them, because these 3 are a little bit better, but yeah, you would be, especially around this bend here, you want to be getting a bit closer because they keep going around here.
Yeah, all right, okay. Now, all right, so Ryan, let's come to you then as we go on the all-weather bend there to stop the horses from slipping. How's the market reacted to this?
Yeah, Mattie said they're going 35 miles an hour. I need them to go 50 miles an hour, I think, to get my horse involved. right out the back in a 10, I don't know. I can't see me getting into the tree from there, but they look to be going very quick. But as Mattie said, it's a track that they can stay going from the front. Impulsive one is the one they want to be with. Inca Prince has been very keen the first couple of hurdles. Out to 5-1 now in the exchange, Inca Prince. Impulsive one into 8-13 and 4-6 chance. Sonning's now taking it up for Adrian Heskin. But if he's taking it up off Inca Prince, I'd imagine he's going too quick. Your selection, Calvados, is settled well in 4th, Dave. Yeah, getting into it, 8.8 in the run and shortening. My selection in a 10 is getting a little bit closer. So I'm just hoping they come back from the front. But 4-6 impulsive run in the run.
The reason why I like Calvados, Ryan, he's got that Fedor form, and he definitely wasn't seen at best effect last time. They're giving way too much to do. And again, we'll get a little bit of a mark here, won't we, between the Irish and the English again. And honestly, some Triumph horses have come from this race and had made a mark over the years at Cheltenham as well. I don't know, Intendu's saying it. Have they gone too quick, Batch?
They've slowed it up a bit along here, I think. They've sort of
giving them a breather.
Yeah, give them a little breather. They could go again, yeah.
Are they doing the double bluff here, G, do you think? Do you think you're going to get us and we're going again?
Yeah, they do that. I think the Fav's going really well here. Impulsive one. This cruising,
well, he's Favin running. He's got a beautiful pitch, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really
He's
going
jumped
well.
one and all.
He's just been sort of sat off the 2 leaders, hasn't he, James Bowen? So he's not used quite as much petrol. They're turning into the straight now. I think these 2 in front are going to die up this straight. I think it's going to be between the rest.
Okay, all right. Well, here we go. Here comes Calvados. I'm getting a bit excited now. What's this moving up as well in the checks? This is an interesting horse. What's this one? We haven't mentioned this one, have we? This is Malacana.
His favourite's going so well, Dave.
Yeah.
He really is going
I don't
well.
know. I know. We'll find out. I mean, he's looked a bit of a short runner so far,
Where's
hasn't he?
Ryan's one coming from?
I'll tell you what, Ryan's one's coming to us well here.
Here comes the skill.
Come on, here we go. Look, he's getting excited. We like this. I tell you what, Racing Welfare are hoping this one comes through as well, but James Bowen's still sitting tight. Calvados, John McConnell attacking Nicky Henderson. There's a sight. Okay, it's Malacan, the favourite's absolutely blown out, run himself into goal. It's all on the last. Impulsive, what a beautiful jump. Mattie Batch is loving it. I think maybe that mid-race move the closers had to do to try and get to him was a bit too much. This is a good horse on a flat track with decent ground. He's winning beautifully.
2 from 2 for the
Blue Lord colours. 2 from 2 for the batch.
2 I'm going home.
2 from 2 for the batch. Happy day. Well, indeed, quite right. I'm glad someone's absolutely firing him in. Again, beautiful ride that, wasn't it? James Bowen. He is going to be one of the future stars. Before we go to Ryan, the 2 Bowen brothers, set your clock by them a bit, can't you?
Yeah, they've been phenomenal from when they were youngsters, and I remember Jamie because he used to ride a lot for Peter Bowen when he was down there. And
Yes, he did.
When he was riding out in the kids, and he was saying, like, these 2 boys coming up.
They'll be mustard.
They're the real deal, yeah. So the pony racing there, yeah, very good. Very
you
good
get the
pilots.
feeling that when Nico calls it a day, I mean, he's got a long way to go yet, Nico,
Yeah.
Nico, hasn't he? But James is perfectly poised, doesn't he, to get Endo's #1 job. Any sort of, is that just a non-Cheltenham horse?
No, I'll tell you what that does tell us, is that Night Salute is a proper
Yeah.
hurdle.
Here we go.
I said that though. I said I
I'm
fancied
telling
that.
you, this horse is underrated.
If it was trained by anyone else,
by
anyone else, by Paul Nichols or someone else.
Night Salute has beaten that horse out of sight twice, and that has just absolutely hacked up there.
one of
Ryan
my
McHugh,
favourites for
bring
sure.
some parity to the party, please. Can you give us a prize for Night Salute, please, on the sportsbook for the Triumph? And I guess that they knew throughout about Impulsive One there, did they?
Yeah, 20 to 1 Night Salute is for the Triumph. 20 to 1 from 40 to 1 we went on the sportsbook. Impulsive One for the Boodles. Yeah, the odds on 8 to 13 down the back straight. They must have had 4 to jump when Impulsive One was odds on. In a 10-2, my selection finished second in the end. 1.74 was the in-run and low for that. Ran a really good race on stable debut for John McConnell. That horse, she'll be winning plenty of race, I'd imagine. But when you break it down, put it into context, Calvados is only 5 or 6 lengths behind Impulsive One. I think you want to be a brave man to back an English horse in any of the juvenile races come March. Myself, I think the Irish are so far ahead. Calvados would have been mapped in that race yesterday, Leopardstown. I know they're different. One's a listed race and one's a grade 1, but for me, I think the English are a long way behind the Irish, and I think that probably proved that there.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that at all. And it's hard to see Impulsive One even going to the Triumph. They'll probably leave him for, again, flat track. His next flat horse, he was with Haggis, wasn't he?
Yeah, like a late tree, wasn't he?
Did you see the spring yesterday, the Vauban race, where Fedor turned into a sprint? That, again, wouldn't totally rule out Fedor now, but Piper obviously
I think the race wasn't run to suit Fedor, so obviously you're going to go to Cheltenham. You'd like to think that the race will be run to suit.
What did you make of Vauban? Did you go, classy?
Yeah, he looked classy, done everything right, and as you say,
quick, isn't he?
Yeah. Very quick.
Talking about Vauban, we've now got to go to Shakan, because let's go back to Leopardstown for the 150. Plenty of time to talk about this. We'll try and build some social interaction and give you your shouts out there as well. Great to have you with us on this Sunday. Plenty more to come your way. Another couple of hours yet, which I'm thrilled about, because this is the place to be. Raucous race reaction, the best anti-post analysis in the business. We will tell you where your money went. Let us know your naps later on as well. Shakan Poursoir then. 150. Ryan, how are we playing this? He's got a bit to prove, hasn't he?
Yeah, I suppose he does, Dave. Like, he's 1.66. It's not a price you'd want to be taking about a 10-year-old that's basically pulled up on his last start. Like, he obviously finished the course, but he was beaten so far in the Betfair Tingle Creek. Obviously, he hasn't been a great traveller because his last 2 poor runs, there's only a couple of poor runs the last few seasons have been in the UK. So obviously, he's much better around Leopardstown. But at 1.66, I'm not sure he's one for me that I'd want to be backing at that price. So I'm going to avoid him. And I think I don't fancy Grenadine either. I was him and on whether I wanted to back Captain Guinness or Dunvegan in the race. But I think what price is Grenadine now at the moment? He was a bit shorter when I put it up earlier. He's 2.48 to lay in the 2-place market. So maybe that's a bit big to lay. I don't fancy Grenadine. Paul Nicholls' horses haven't been running the best. Pick Dory stopped like a light yesterday. Broden as well went out pretty quickly. The last few weeks he hasn't had too many winners. He's had the odd winner we expected from Yard of his stature, but I just think Grenadine, I find it hard to see him winning. So at the prices, I'll probably go with Dunvegan, Graeme, if that's all right, please. He's 10.5 to win the race. There's an argument to say he's better going the other way around, but I think they found the key to him this season. He's really improved. At 10.5, I'm going to have £20 win on him, please, Graeme, and the place market as well. I'm going to have £20 on him at around 9 to 4. I think he can outrun his odds. He was a bit bigger this morning. He was around an 18.5 chance in the exchange. So he has shown up in the market. We're not really getting the value at the moment. But I just think Shackett at 1.4 or 1.66, I should say. If you were to take one on today, it would probably be him, given he's a 10-year-old and coming off the back of a bad run.
I think everyone out there will be echoing this. I think of the shorties, Batch and G, that people were looking at the multiples. Of course, we had the treble up yesterday, didn't we? Of course, the Mullins treble. And you'll be looking at what? You'll be looking at Galopin de Champs, Honeysuckle, and a lot of people will be going, do I put Sir Gerhard in there or do I put Shacken in there? Shacken's the one, I think. Well, of course, he's on a hat-trick in the race. When he's right around Leopardstown, it's hard for me to remember a horse jumping better around Leopardstown than Shacken Soir does, even when he got beaten by Apu Tard there last season. He's a monster around there. But was it just a case of getting homesick at Sandown because it was awful, wasn't it?
He'd come back off a 221-day layoff to go round Sandown, a good soft ground, and travel. He doesn't look the best of travellers. He's in his own backyard today. I don't care if he's 10, 11 or 12. I think they've all got to go to beat him today.
You're on the hat-trick.
I'm on the hat-trick.
You're not going to let that one go, are you? Now let's go to Mr. Rodway, who you know is going to balance up the argument.
Yeah, I love Shacken Soir. I think he's in the Shishkin and the Nurjamin bracket when he's at his absolute best. He usually is around his absolute best round here, isn't he, at Leopardstown? Like you say, it's his own backyard. But you just cannot back a horse at 8 to 13 who was beaten 34 lengths last time out, went 8 to 13 favourite. Let's not forget, for that Tingle Creek, they backed him like he could not get beat. The money just poured in for him. They thought he was well. They thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
And he ran appalling.
You were there that day, of course. We zoomed into the track. It was a great day for everyone because you and Gills both put up Grenadine.
Yeah, Grenadine.
Are you keeping the faith? Because, I mean, on the Tingle Creek form, it should be fav.
Yeah, Grenadine was one of my bets of the year, I think I did put in my column, Dave, and he delivered.
Never sell yourself short in this game,
He
Batch.
delivered.
G-Rod never does he?
After yesterday, he needs to remind us. So, yeah.
I think I did put up maximum 3 points on him.
That's very rare, isn't it?
To win the ticket. It was my only 3-point bet all year last year. Was
what these tipsters do, I mean, we used to call him 10-point Tom, didn't we, TC, when he was with us? And he would put up 5 points for him, which Keeley or Melrose, are you sure about this and all that sort of thing. I used to get that when I used to do it as well. And you now went down to just, it's no point, let's just do 1 point, didn't you? Some people used to do 0.5 each way.
Well, the scale is 1, 2 or 3 point maximum. So 3 points is a maximum bet. And that was the only 3 point bet that I had all last year was Green Team to win the Tingle Creek. And he did it nicely at 12 to 1 in the end, a huge price. I don't fancy him today, Dave, because I thought that the Tingle Creek was his race.
Yeah.
Obviously, Paul Nicholls' runners are a little bit, I don't seem to be running right up to their best form. And I think that Captain Guinness is probably the one if you want to back one out of the Tingle Creek.
Couldn't agree anymore.
He's probably the bet. But I've come down on, I see the race just as Ryan has, exactly the same as Ryan has. I think you've got to take on Shacken Soir at the price. I think Green Team, the stable form's a worry, and he's probably already run his best race of the year in the Tingle Creek.
Yeah.
And I think you've only got two. You can back Captain Guinness and Dunvegan, and I came down on Dunvegan as well at the bigger price.
Go back a year, and Captain Guinness was giving Energumene a bit of a race, wasn't he?
Yeah, Captain Guinness
when he fell as a novice.
Captain Guinness ran really well in the Tingle Creek. He was beaten 5 lengths behind.
I was
Green
surprised
Team.
they held him up as much as they did. I thought he might be a likely pace angle. I thought Rachel might be a bit. And let's face it. I mean, look, we've got Honeysuckle to come, haven't we, guys? But a little bit quiet, isn't it? For the husband and wife duo.
Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but
Henry and Rachel.
Well, coming to the second last, I think it is at Sandown. I thought Captain Guinness was going to be Green Team's biggest danger that day, but the Green Team seems to run all his best races around Sandown as well. He certainly won that celebration chase last year, the Tingle Creek. This is a different type of track. Yeah, Captain Guinness and Dunvegan, I would be torn between the two, but I think that they're both good bets. I've come down on Dunvegan because I think he's maybe improving a bit quicker than Captain Guinness is, but we'll see.
I think he's hitting the nail on the head with Grenadine. Sandown's his place.
Loves it, don't he?
Yeah, and that was his day, the Tingle Creek.
The small field might worry. He settled that day as well, didn't he? Which has been the problem with him. It was just masterful training. We spoke to Paul Nicholls when we did the big jump off, didn't we? And Paul said to us, and of course we did a Racing Post Live extra pre-Tingle Creek as well on the Monday night when we did it. And he said he was always going to need it. And he told us pre-Holden Gold Cup, he's not the one, Hitman was the one, wasn't it? Horribly hard race there, Hitman, didn't he? But Grenadine actually ran, if you didn't know that and you weren't really between the tea leaves and all that sort of thing, Grenadine looks a bit ordinary there, but it was all about the Tingle Creek. like he's done with Frodon, like he's done with Shacken, Clandazobo, he's picked.
It's your
the
milk
FA Cup
bottle
final.
race, isn't it?
It's your milk bottle race.
Yeah.
Do you know what the milk bottle is? Put a £5 in a milk bottle each week. That's what Alan Hill famously does between for his point to point. Put a milk bottle in your kitchen. A fiver every week. I'm trying to work out how to do it. You can tell I don't milk bottle it. I bottle a lot of things, but not a fiver. I can tell you each week. But I tell you what, if you had to have a milk bottle horse now for Cheltenham, this is a good one for the socials out there. Who would it be? A fiver now each. I don't want to say each day, each week now until Cheltenham. Who's your milk bottle horse? I'll leave that with you. Have you got?
I've got one, yeah.
Not your more horse, is it?
No.
Who is it? Come on in, start the ball rolling.
It's in the Potemps.
Whoa!
And we saw at Warwick the Fergal O'Brien horse on.
Alaphilippe, no, is it?
That's it, yeah.
Alaphilippe. That's what kills his thinking that's a sneaky one.
Yeah, it's a sneaky one.
Alaphilippe, right. Right, okay, we've got a couple of socials coming in then. Let's open the show. It's taken a little while for us, didn't it? But we're up and running now. Happy days. And Sam Caney, good to have you back on, Sam. Ooh, here we go. Bob beats Galloping all day. Now, the anti-post prices haven't really helped us. He's 9 to 4 for the Turners all of a sudden. It looks like it could be one of the... Could that be the race of the season if they all turned up there?
Great race.
Shishkin versus Nergamin, obviously round 2, has got everyone, even people outside racing, to go for watch that.
I know which one's a better jumper, and it ain't Bob.
No.
No, all right, that wasn't the question, was it? But Sam thinks Bob beats Galloping all day long. So despite what he's seen today, he thinks that Bob is just a real deal.
Bob's got an amazing engine. He's an absolute machine. But does he jump well enough to win a top-class Novice Chase around Cheltenham? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But we're going to find out, Dave, that's for sure. Because there are some good jumpers in that race. Galloping, Long Press.
All right, okay. Loving the one-liners, I think. Oh, we've got one more out as well. Ireland Smiler, good to have you back on. Says, I'd love to see Shishkin versus Energamin versus Shacken Pulswar at Punchestown.
That won't happen.
Never.
Well, the reason why, Smiler, that might not happen is because Sprinter Sacra very nearly lost. He very nearly lost it there, and they thought he might have struggled to come back from that, didn't they? Because he did the Cheltenham Aintree Punchestown treble. It's gruelling. Having sat out the Tingle Creek, could he do that?
I suspect
possibilities, but
he probably won't.
I suspect he won't. But
we'd love to see it, wouldn't we? Because Shacken's mustered around Punchestown. I think that's what I'm.
The only way you'll see it, I think, if Energamin and Shishkin go up together at Aintree, and I thought Energamin possibly would have the more speed edge at Aintree.
Yeah.
Which make it 1-1. So then, would you go over there and settle it from?
I'd like to see it. This year.
That'd be great for racing.
There's only 2.5 weeks between Cheltenham and Aintree.
Oh, we're going to be talking about that soon, are we?
So it's very tight turnaround between Cheltenham and Aintree.
Second week of April, isn't it?
And if Shishkin has a hard race at Cheltenham, I don't reckon Nicky will run him at Aintree, in which case he might be tempted
to go there.
However,
miss out the Aintree race.
Don't forget that there is the Grade 1 Celebration Chase at Sandown, which Shishkin will turn up and be 4 to 9 for, and that will be quite tempted.
Yeah, that will.
4 to 9 be a good price. 4 to 9 be a good price, I'd say, Graeme, in that race.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I suppose if you're taking on Shacken here, you're thinking, right, I've got the field against me. He's below par, but this is Mullins, isn't it? Who's with Shacken out there? Come on, let's hear the love for him. I mean, have we been a bit disparaging?
No,
We're talking about.
Horse, isn't he?
Well, of course, he's a great horse, but I suppose you're thinking if he's going to win one this season, the Grade 1, this is probably it, isn't it?
This
So
is it,
we will find out whether he's on the wane, the great horse, or whether he is. He's still got plenty to say, and of course he's.
I am with him.
You're with him, of
kept
course.
the faith.
That's it, Batch. I absolutely love it. Who's going to lead here? That's the question. It's like might be done vegan in the without marking for Ryan McHugh. Great to have Ryan from our sponsors, Betfair, with us today, propping up the show, of course. A reminder that me and G thought without, and even a little small win bet as well on Captain Guinness.
Captain Guinness and Dumb Vegan, I'm with you.
Yeah. Looks like Rachel's going to be a little bit more patient with him, like she was in the Tingle Creek, because off they go. Grenadine has been allowed to head. Isn't that interesting? Bryony, of course, no luck on Frodon yesterday. Had the ground gone a little bit?
No,
was it
shall I
Nichols'
tell you
form?
what? That she went the inside route on Frodon when
And she's
everyone
doing
went
it
the
again.
outside, and she's on the inside route on Green Teen, and all the Irish jockeys are on the outside.
Well, what are you trying to say there?
Well, I'm just saying, does she know something they don't?
Well, maybe. What I love about these guys is they do their homework big time, and they've looked at us and thought, well, unless it's Shacken, who's going to lead? And they've allowed Grenadine his head, which is not often what you see with him. Dunvegan now does take up the mantle of the front-running piece. Shacken taking on to Cashback, a good winner over hurdles last time, although probably from horse that needed it.
Made a bit of a mistake at the second. Cashback.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, a big outsider, but we saw what happened, of course, in the first race. These Mullins horses, they can cause the shock. And Captain Guinness out the back. Again, I'm a little bit surprised that they are being as conservative with him as they are at the moment. But if he comes back to that energamine form last year, Ryan, he's going to have a say. What's the market done, having seen the positions?
Yeah, Grenadine, he's a little bit keen, isn't he, under Bryony Frost? Maybe she's better off maybe letting him go on a stride because she's kind of taking him back, and I don't think it's suiting him. He's out to 8.2 and running 1.61 at the moment. Chacun Persois was getting a nice lead into the race by Dunvegan, our selection pre-race. He's in there at 10.0. Cashback is making jumping errors, which he usually does at grade 1 level. And Captain Guinness, I suppose, out the back is travelling nicely for Rachel Blackmore. She's tracking Paul Townend, which will be interesting. She'll obviously try and give herself one go at him. Whether she's good enough to get by remains to be seen. But Dunvegan is enjoying himself out in front. Has built up a 3-length lead. Is into 9.8.
Yes, he is. All right. Now, this is where the real sight, the lovely camera angle, the side-on camera angle that you see at Leopardstown. Watch Chacun Persois. I don't want to put the commentator's curse, which I can so often do, but he is absolute Sauville over these fences. He's different gravy. Grenadine, I'm not happy with him, GU.
He's been a little bit over racing, hasn't he, Grenadine, on the inside there. Chacun's having it put up to him by Dunvegan, but he hasn't sulked yet.
What price now then is Chacun going? He's not changing, is he? I'm a little bit surprised
Captain
about
Guinness
that.
is absolutely tugging it on.
He is,
Really
but is he
well
just
in
doing that
himself.
little bit too much? Grenadine flew that one on the far
he's
side.
right on
Cashback
terms, Grenadine.
already starting to find it too. I'd like to see Dunvegan have a say in this. Fahey's horse, of course, Brian Cooper on. He's a bit of a fairy house specialist, isn't
This
he?
is fascinating, this route that Bryony Frost is taking right up the inside when all the Irish jockeys are right on the outside.
You could potentially have egg on your face, so it's brave, isn't it?
fascinating.
Very brave from Bryony to be doing this. He's sort of a bit indifferent with
He's
his
in
jumping.
front, isn't he, Grenadine now?
He's absolutely tanking. He's definitely showing more speed, but this is what they were worried about him all last year with. He doesn't drop his head. All right, okay, so at the moment,
Might
it's a
not
case
just see
of...
it out, I don't think.
How are you feeling about Chacun now? Happy with that odds-on batch?
Yeah, very happy.
Yeah.
Interesting shape.
Travelling
by
well,
Chacun.
settled well. Say Grenadine, as G-Rod said, he's just done a little bit too much. for me.
Dunvegan beat here, looks in
I
trouble.
think
Good
Dunvegan's
question, I
beat
don't-
and Captain Guinness is still travelling well.
He's a
Captain
horse that he
Guinness
wouldn't be
done
the
well,
quickest, would he? Of course, 10-year-olds don't often win this race. So,
Green
all right,
team got
okay,
tight
Cashback,
there.
the one that's definitely gone now. I think you'll probably see he's massive price.
Chacun's
We're on
back
another
in
zero.
front.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so the difference of opinion is very interesting here. Hugh
That's
Masson
the
on the
third
chat
last,
asked
isn't
if there was fresh
Yeah.
ground. You could see it was on the far side where the bend came out because it narrows right down. Now they're back on the course proper. This is 3 out, is
Three
it?
out.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Watch
Go on,
Chacun here.
Chacun.
This is
Oh,
Chacun. That is his favourite fence in the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's just,
Grenadine's
that's
in
made for
trouble.
him, that fence.
Grenadine's beat, I think.
He is.
Captain
No.
Guinness is still going well.
Grenadine's
Yeah,
in some
Captain
trouble,
Guinness,
I
yeah,
think.
well.
Captain Guinness and Dunvegan both queuing
Chacun's
up for a little crack here.
To
2
lose,
outs.
is it? Chacun's to lose.
Grenadine
Go on,
doing his
Chacun.
absolute level best on the inside, bless him, but it's going to be
Oh,
too
good
much
jump
for
by
him.
Captain Guinness.
Hit
Go on,
now,
Chacun.
Rachel, all of a sudden, Rachel Blackmore is
Oh,
sensing
Chacun's
this.
going well.
Go on,
But
Chacun.
yet again, Paul Townend, I suppose that, yeah, poor old
He's on
Grenadine
the
falling in
steal.
a hole. Dunvegan having a crack at him.
Dunvegan.
Captain Guinness now
What's he
getting
going to find,
outpaced.
Chacun? What's he going to find?
Go on,
He's gone
Chacun.
really low here, hasn't he? Look at that on the
Here we
exchange.
go.
Go on,
Proper low.
Chacun.
And he's opening up. It's going to be 3 from 3 for Batch. This is
Go
it.
on.
My
Looks like
lord.
it.
Things
Come
you thought
on,
you'd never
Chacun.
see on a
Oh, yes, he's
Sunday.
away.
This is his race.
This
This
is
will
the
be a
race.
handicap race for Chacun. All you money buyers out there.
Hey!
Oh, there he goes. He's all right.
All you doubters out there. Come on,
Dunvegan has won the
Chacun.
race of his life in second. Captain Guinness a bit too keen. Poor old Grenadine's going to be lapped, I think, for 4th place as well. Just hasn't fired. The jury's still out on the Nichols runners, I think. Bravely placed as he
Go on,
was.
Chacun.
Well, the champ is back, they will be saying in Ireland. And yes, Paul Townend enjoyed that, didn't he? Because the pressure was on. They don't know until they get onto the track with this horse exactly what they're going to get. Because at home, he's like a Rolls Royce. Bats, that was special, wasn't it?
Yeah, great to see. As said before the race, he's back in his backyard and he does what he does best round there.
Yeah, all right, great stuff. G, before we go to Ryan.
Yeah, he was brilliant, wasn't he? He was right back to his best, Chacun Persois, and he's in a different class to the rest when he is at his best, and he was.
Yeah, all right, Ryan. That 3 out, he's just majestic at that, isn't he? And it's where he usually wins his race. But they did have a crack. Was there a little spike at any point?
Well, Captain Guinness was. I just wanted to check. Captain Guinness was matching low, 2-1 in running. So punters obviously felt at one stage that Rachel Blackmore was giving him a really good ride. 1.95 was the in-running high of Chacun Persois, so never actually hit even money in running. But he's near unbeatable around Leopardstown, isn't he, lads? We're probably foolish just to think the price was too short. When you look at the Paul Nichols form, we said it about Grenadine. He was really disappointed. Obviously, it was just probably a strange enough ride by Bryony Frost in the end to go up that way, considering that it didn't work on Froden yesterday when everything else came wide. Dunvegan ran a career best race. He ran a cracker for Brian Cooper and Pat Fatty. But Chacun Persois and round Leopardstown. If the Champion Chase was run at Leopardstown, he'd be more than half his price than he is for the Champion Chase. At the moment, For 7-1, I think we're going to go from 12-1, but that's more from an each way point of view. He looks one that would probably hit the 3 at least in the champion chase, but obviously it'll be very hard to see him beat an Ergamine and Shishkin actually turn up on the day.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Good stuff. All right. I mean, Dunvegan's run a really good race, and he'd probably be the benchmark horse there, would he?
Yeah,
He's just run his race, hasn't he, and had a crack, hasn't he? So.
And he done quite a bit early, didn't he? I thought he was going quick enough, and he's
stuck on well.
He's stuck on well. Grenadine, yeah, he's just dropped by the wayside, and he's emptied very quickly.
We are in a golden era of 2-mile chasers.
We're back,
again,
aren't
yeah?
we?
We're back.
Absolutely.
We've
This
got
guy
an
has to go to Cheltenham, doesn't he?
We've
He's got to go to
Shishkin,
Cheltenham.
We've got Chacun Poursoir. Let's hope that they all turn up at Cheltenham. Who's to say that he doesn't go at Cheltenham? Maybe last year's race he just wasn't right.
Last 10-year-old to win the champion chase?
Moscow Flyer?
No, he won it as an 11-year-old. Sprinter was not the last one.
Ooh.
Oh, special tiara.
Well done,
Special
Graeme Rodway.
tiara.
I didn't think you were going to get that. I didn't think you were
I
going to
was
get
there
that.
that day. That was the
I
day.
was looking forward to him falling on his face there. but
Sally
you got it.
Rowley
Were
Williams,
you?
is that
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat her on Come Diamond.
You'd have been brilliant
That was
on
the
that
famous
race.
day when it all started to go wrong for Duvan.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course, absolutely. Yeah, so look, he goes there. Could he be the value? Let us know. Great to see him. Great to see these champion horses come back up and running anyway. We thought at 4-9 beforehand he had a bit to prove, and I'd like to have a crack at him. But look, we love these horses, and when you see class, we've seen it so far, haven't we, at Leopardstown? We've had Galopin de Champs, we've had Chacun Poursoir. You know who's still to come, don't you? The Queen. We can't wait for that, but we must go back to Musselburgh. It's a Supreme Novice Trial. Ryan McHugh, take it away.
Yeah, it's back to a trappy little contest. 6-4, 2.5, a little bit bigger than 6-4 since day one. And they were actually flip-flopping betting overnight. Rest and Be Thankful was put in favourite a couple of days ago. But since day one now, it was on a 4-timer, of course, for the McCain and Hughes partnership. Is into 2.58. Rest and Be Thankful, week out to 3.9. And my selection in the race, Kiev, I think, can outrun its price at around 11-2, 6.4 on the exchange. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have £20 win, Graeme, please, at 6.4. And then I'm going to have £20 in the place market as well at around 7-4, 2.74. I just think he's best on flat tracks. He won really nicely a couple of starts back at Newcastle, and when he travelled really well into the race, won 12 lengths. Quick enough turnaround then to Cheltenham in a much more competitive race. When he was only beaten 9 lengths by Cormier, he's still only a 5-year-old. I think he can improve again. And given it's a flat track here, and hopefully there'll be a little bit of pace on, even though it's a small field, I think he can run well for Conor O'Farrell and Adrian Keatley. But since day one, it's been really strong all morning. It's into around 2.54 at the moment.
Okay, all right.
That's
there
the
we are.
4-timer done, isn't it? He's only tipped mine, hasn't
Has he?
Oh, Ryan.
you're
Ryan's
worried.
done me.
Listen.
He's done
Did you
me.
genuinely think you were going to go through the card?
Yeah.
Come on, be honest.
Yes. I'm there forever the optimist, Dave.
Have you ever gone through a card before, G?
No.
Oh, never.
No.
I have
Have you?
once. Yeah.
When?
Open meeting when Rhinestone Cowboy won the bumper.
Yeah.
And Rooster Booster won the Greatwood. I went through the card that day. I can't remember them all, but we went through the card. And when Rhinestone won a bumper, like a Rhinestone Cowboy. You should have heard us. I was there. Yeah, so has anyone ever gone through a card before? What's your milk bottle horse for Cheltenham? That's what we're going to say. So if you don't know what that is, you're told to get a milk bottle at the start of the season, put a £5 in it each week, and then back your horse. That's the way to do it, isn't it? Safe and responsible. I know lots of people that do that, actually, when they go to Cheltenham.
Yep.
It's great. They're going to get the chance to do that again. They put a little bit by each month, don't they? Save it up, and they go, and that's the way to have a pop, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to do that regularly. I come off twice in 3 years for me, a long time ago. But it's not something that I've done recently. But I should go back to do it. It was great. I used to put in, like, whenever I had a spare few quid, I'd just stick a bit more on the one horse that I thought would win at Cheltenham. Azertiut was one, Dave. You loved him as well, didn't you? The year when he won the
absolutely
champion chase.
loved him. Yeah.
Remember the year that Moscow Flyer unseated rider?
Yeah.
Azertiut was my milk bottle horse that year.
Yeah, was he now? Yeah. He was on through the card day. I think he won the. I think he won the newspaper novices.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
I got
won
a
the
feeling he might
novices
have done.
chase that day.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
And I remember Ruby Walsh and Jim Cullity came up and did a talk to us and said, "This will not get beat." And and the rest is history. Zertiut was one of mine, that's for sure.
A great horse, yeah.
Do you remember when he got beaten in the Victor Challenger by Izio?
Yeah.
I just loved him more that day.
Yeah,
I think.
I think he was given £28 or £26 to Izio that day, and Izio was a very good horse who went on to finish second in a Grade 1.
Yeah.
So he had an impossible task, and he only lost out by a short head or something.
Yeah, when of course the Clarence House was a handicap. Lots of calls for that to go back, but we digress. Right, let's get some tips in for this one then. We know what Matt Ryan are tipping. I thought the Fav might take this out, G, I must say. What about you?
Since day one?
Yeah.
Oh, see, this is one of those horses of Donald McCain's that's been on a roll. Like they've all been on a roll, haven't they, this year, Donald McCain's?
They have.
Yeah, and this is another one, Newcastle. All Newcastle form. He looked good, hasn't he? I was with the other one, Rest and Be Thankful, who I think Rowan was saying was the morning, or was certainly contesting the market with the top one since day one. I thought that he was very impressive when he won at Huntingdon last time out, Rest and Be Thankful, and I thought he might upset the favourite here. He's one of my better bets of the day, Rest and Be Thankful, Dave.
Okay, for the McNeil family, who had Sonning, probably looking at what happened to him in the previous race, probably filling the box up, wasn't he? But Max McNeil and family are having a great season. They spread around. I thought Ascaria 10 ran really well, by the way, in the Thyestes. Did you see that race?
Well, that form's good, isn't it? The form from the National Hunt Chase last year, won by Galvin, of course.
Galvin,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh,
Ascaria 10 was in that race. Next destination.
3 out, he looked like he might actually go and win that brutal.
I
race
backed
first time.
I backed the Scaria 10 in the TSS, Dave. 6 places. It's 5-4 to win the race and finishes. I think it pulled up or finished 8th or something.
It
So,
tired badly out of it, but I think they must have been happy with it because the chassis was there for a long way. And Ryan, that's a tough race to back one first time out, isn't it? But he was pretty short.
That's the sort of horse that Kills will tip for a race at the festival.
Maybe you think he'll be going. Obviously, everyone thought he was going to turn up in the Beecher, didn't they?
Kills loves festival form.
You
Like
think Max
horses who
McNeil
ran well
will have?
last year.
I think he's had over 200 winners now, hasn't he? So he's very good on his Twitter account. So if you want to go and check him out. Well, I thought since day one, I thought he had the better form of the pair, and I wasn't sure about yours, Key Haver. Is that how we say him, Key Haver?
You have it there. That's good enough for me.
Haver.
Yeah.
I don't really like horses that turn around quickly, I must admit.
Why?
I thought that- I thought it was a-
Why?
Yeah, why?
I just don't really. I know that. I just think it's a bit, and especially handicaps as well. I think they've had a tough race, and I think they are just trying. A lot of these races at Musselburgh as well were undersubscribed, weren't they? A lot was said about that in the week. You're looking at me, and you think that I'm trying to.
No, I'll come back to you.
All right, now you can come back in a sec, but honestly, I know that Lively Citizen, who was pulled up in that race, has come out and since won the Cormier race. But Glory and Honour, he didn't run very well yesterday. I know he came down, but I don't like horses that turn out this quickly over jumps.
But how quickly is this?
8 days, isn't it?
Okay.
Plenty, Dave. Plenty.
What's the problem? What? Come on, let's have it. Fire it back.
I'll come back to you.
Are you running a query? Is that what you're doing? He's got this little machine where he runs. This is where Rodway gets his crazy theories from. He tries to back them all up with numbers. Oh, let's see who comes out on top of this one. So that would be my worry about the Adrian Keatley horse for sure. But when you're looking at the likes of Carrageen Rock and Live Life to the Max and up against him, and obviously yesterday's when the social agenda's been pulled from it. I think since day one, I think he's underrated on 125, and for a very resurgent Donald McCain and Brian Hughes. Brian Hughes, wow. Not enough is said about him in this studio. It's because he doesn't come down south as much. I remember when we did the Fighting Fifth Day, he had one ride. It was in a Novice Hurdle, and it went off at 14-1 and he won. One ride at Newcastle on a big Saturday.
He's always. He even had a trip over to Jersey, Dave, would you believe?
Did he really? You must have been livid.
I was like, you are.
Give us a chance.
I said, you are one hungry fella to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came over for Charlie Longsdon and he brought the family over, yeah. But he's a lovely lad as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, he reminds me a bit of his style, the way he rides, of Jason Maguire, who's also very, very, very good, very natural. And I put him in the same sort of bracket as that.
Yeah.
He's been champion jockey for a reason. That's why he's very, very good.
Yeah, and I mean, barring accidents, he's got it sewn up, hasn't he?
Yeah, you would have thought so. He's as you say, he doesn't avoid the big meetings, but he can go somewhere else and have 3 or 4 winners instead of sort of coming down to your Cheltenhams or somewhere like that. He stay where his bread and butter is, and
We see that on the flat, don't you? It used to be the northern support that would win, like the Red Wall support, we could call it, couldn't we? Paul Hannigan's of this world, even Sylvester D'Souza at one point, when he won it, he's got hand down thing, but you got all the northern support. That's the way to win the championship, I suppose.
Of course it is. I mean, he'd come down to Cheltenham and he would pick up rides, but he would ride more winners elsewhere.
I thought I was going to see him in front in this race as well. It's a 205, good luck wherever you're playing, but he has taken a pull. on since day one, looking for that four-timer, and I don't think the horse is totally enjoying it. But he sits in second behind Green Rock, Lucinda Russell and Derek Fox, fresh off the back of course, Ahoy Senor yesterday. They'll be high on life, hoping that this one will put himself up for something of a festival along the line. G's pick, Rest and Be Thankful, sits in third at the moment, along with Live Life to the Max from the Smith Yard, riding the Maniac Mania on. And out the back is Kihava, bidding to give Mattie Batch a four-timer. With 4 races down, who knew it? Who knew it? Okay, now I'm not going to go to Ryan McHugh here because surely there's no point. They can't have changed much, can they? Of course, we've seen the positions there. They are going, what speed are they going?
30 miles an hour.
We're looking out. It could be another day, couldn't it? And it's 30 miles an hour. Okay, come on then. But this is now actually opening up a little bit. And now's the time to come to Ryan McHugh as Green Rock flies over the fourth flight.
Yeah, since day one doesn't look to be doing too much wrong to me, but punters are finding some fault in that price because it's out to 2.96, haven't gone off 2.6. So a bit of a drift on since day one. Rest and Be Thankful is strong in running into about 2-1 at the moment. Kiava's getting a nice toe into the race at the back of the field. Green Rock that takes him along is a little bit bigger than what that BSP is. So at the moment, Rest and Be Thankful is just taking up favouritism and running at around 2-1.
Well, I think he's doing a little bit too much too soon, the Fav. You've got your numbers up, have you? Because you had a little wry smile there. We'll get to this. I don't like losing.
The problem is that the numbers have actually proved you right, Dave.
Yes, there you go. Who knew?
I was just about to tell you how wrong you were, and it actually comes out that horses who have turned out within 0 to 7 days and 0 to 14 days have got a lower strike rate than those who have turned out within 22 and 29.
Honestly, who'd have thought it? I don't know. I mean, I don't need interactive to tell me that.
Correct.
All right, the day is improving. A winner would be nice here. And since day one has gone to the front. Oh, no, not quite, actually. Green Rock has now gone, stuck his head back. Are you happy with your Rest and Be Thankful?
Yeah, well, you hit that. Just as you said that, Dave. I think the Fav's in trouble, so you've got to be happy that you're on the second Fav. The one in front worries me a little bit because he seems to be going along quite nicely.
He's settled nicely, isn't he? Honestly, I'll do these close-up comments for the Racing Post. It's something I've only been doing in the last 2 years. And the amount of horses I put Took Keen Hold next to, and they never win races. I mean, hardly any of them do. That would be a good query for you, and one you might come out on top of.
Took Keen Hold?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Horses that don't settle don't win races, is what I'm saying.
Comment, is it?
If you're an in-running punter, Ryan, I suppose, as they turn around his sweeping bend for home, you look for horses that settle on the exchange, right? Surely.
Come on, rest.
Yeah, definitely. But it'll just, I suppose, if they're going slow enough in front and taking a keen hold, they can probably get settled in the mid part through the race. But this race is getting interesting. Since day one is getting shorter at the moment now, into around 11 to 8 as they jump to second last.
Yeah, he beat a horse called Stokes last time very, very well. But look at this horse that's turned out after 8 days. He could be the one. No. Something's gone wrong, unfortunately. We have to be thankful. He's lost his action. Adrian Heskin doing the right thing, pulling him up as we come to the second last. Kivavu, or whatever he's called, Kihava, has been... The four-timer could be on. Ryan McHugh's getting excited. Since day one, has he done too much early on? Green Rock's still there. I'll tell you what, Marcus Scene's here. Oh no, 2 fallers. You wouldn't believe it. Come on, since day one. I'm going to come up short again here. Second place is first place loser, the boys will be saying. He's not doing a great deal in front, but the horse that turned out quickly. Well done, Batch. What a day's having. Does Rhinestone Cowboy run in the bumper? We could be going through the card here, says Batch. Well done, Ryan McHugh, as well. I don't know what to make of since day one there. I'm a little bit disappointed, but second place, first place loser for me, unfortunately. The Fav comes unstuck. He's run a sledger, but look out for him off a proper pace. That was a case of waiting, and pounce, Ryan McHugh.
I've won that with Ryan the Monkey on my back as well.
You brought me along. You carry top weight.
We've carried top weight there. We've still won.
You've been called some things before.
Brilliant ride by Conor O'Farrell. In fairness, he's very good at that. Just getting horse. He's a bit of an Adam Wedge about him. He gets horses travelling at the back and comes late. Green Rock hit evens, just over evens, 2.02 in the run. And the in-run allow for since day one was 1.69. But a really good ride by Conor O'Farrell. There's a couple of fallers at the last. Hopefully they got up and none the worse for that. But Mattie's on a roll here, and hopefully the next race is in 10, 15 minutes. Everyone will be eagerly awaiting what Mattie's going for in the next.
What are you going for in the next? Just let us know.
I think I'm going to sit out this one.
You're learning from Rodway.
Spend enough time next to me.
It's rubbing off, isn't it?
Someone will ask Mattie, did you go through the card? No, but I could have.
Yeah, yeah, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, quite right. I'd have to say, when I went through the card, I bet every race as well. But so, look, lots have been said about the next race coming up in 2:25. We go to handicap time. And there are some right old favourites in here, aren't they? But there's your Betfair SB. Well done if you ignored me and ignored the fact that I was right on the numbers. Some horses, they can turn out and they can go and win these races in Quijava. Oh, I'll never forget that name, will I? That's for sure. We've got one more coming from Musselburgh. I think at least one more, haven't we, up there? Yeah, at least one more. We need to go north of the border, but I'm just looking at Willie Mullins being interviewed actually, and there's will be one question that Willie's now going to be asked, and obviously Shaken. But isn't it funny that when these Grade 1 horses bounce back, people still just want to know about the novices and the targets?
Yeah, well, you know where he's going to go probably with Shaken. You know what he's going to do. You want to know where Galloping's going and whether he probably, I don't know.
Something tells me we might have to wait.
Yeah, knowing Willie, he probably just won't
Lots
make
can
that
go
decision.
wrong as well, can't it? You know, horses, as we saw.
We're only in the beginning of February, Dave.
Energumene, you know,
Yeah.
he didn't make it last year,
Yeah.
did he? So that we're at that time now, aren't we, where you're starting to
Yeah.
get. There are probably some horses that connections already know about as well, aren't they? You see it on the exchanges and all that sort of stuff.
And
But,
trainers like that, like jockeys really, they are sort of superstitious old fools, and you you don't want to say right, it's going there because you think you're going to put the mockers on them. So you just say, look, we're not sure where we're going yet. It's just they're just trying to do it.
I'm not sure he even knows yet.
He's
He's probably still working towards it. I mean, get today out of the way.
Yeah.
In fairness,
what
he'd only had
happens.
2 runs over fences. Something was said about that about a month ago, wasn't it? It might be Richie Forrester, I can't remember who it was, or Chris Cook, one of our senior writers, worked out that 2 runs going into the festival, and who were the last novices to go in with just the 2 runs. They did come up with the answers, and I'm trying to think of the horses. There are some very good horses that have done it. There are some surprising ones as well, but a lot of horses do the brave man's game thing, if you like, and have at least 3. Bob, of course, will line up with just 2. Galloping will line up with just 2. Who else? There are lots of them. I'm sure you're shouting at the screen right now, but yeah, I don't know. Experience counts around Cheltenham Bachelor, doesn't it?
It does, but I think when you can sort of look at certain horses, like as you alluded to earlier, Bob Ballinger, who's the best jumper out of the 2, Galloping definitely. Looking at him the way he jumps, would he have a problem around Cheltenham? From what I've seen, I'd definitely say no. So you wouldn't 2 runs. I mean, you would have gone to Cheltenham on back of 1 run the way he jumped around there the first time. So he just fills you with so much confidence, so it wouldn't bother you where he went.
It's the fences at Cheltenham, isn't it? It's like they pose a different type of test, don't they?
3 and 2 out, isn't it?
Like yeah, the uphill, sort of on the uphill, downhill ones.
And you're just getting racing as well. Sort of down the back, you're still a long way from home, so you can sort of manipulate what they do. But a good horse, you would leave them alone and let them sort themselves out, which is the best way. If a horse is as natural as them, and I remember schooling for Hen. Well, the first time, sort of few days I went in there and schooled, you used to go into the schooling field, and you always used to go. You always used to go and show the novices the hurdles or the fences, whatever you're jumping. And I walked into the field, and when I was walking over to the fence, and Hen said, like, where are you going? And I said, oh, I'm going to show her the fence. And she went, Mattie, she said, if they're in this schooling field, they know their job. They don't need to go and see it. And you just used to walk in the gate, down the row of 3 fences, just because. And
You always talk about when you school at Hens. Henrietta Knight, of course, training best mate, et al., Edgerton Blurt and the rest. She's obviously retired from the training match, but she's got her fingers in a lot of equine pies, isn't she? And she has a lot. She's responsible for a lot of horses that have looked screwballs over fences coming good. I remember Champ was one of hers.
Yeah.
She had John Bon and the likes of that. Nikki sends them all there, but lots of trainers do. And I actually spoke to her a couple of weeks ago and tried to get her on a feature show. She's gonna. I think I've agreed with her to get her on. So we'll look at doing that. Talk about feature shows, by the way. In the Know, our show, of course, on the Friday night. They knocked Conflated out the park, didn't they? The Irish Gold Cup winner. And, of course, we spoke to Gordon Elliott on What a Shout that we do as well, our other show that we do. And it's fair to say that there are a lot of naps flying around in this next race coming up, the 2:25. And he has found himself to the top of the pile. It's Birchdale. Nap for Keels. He did it in the Weekender at the start of the week. And they have napped, of course, Birchdale David Jennings jumped on the party. But when I spoke to Gordon Elliott during that show, he gave Mortal a confident word on what a shout. That'll do me, he said Devo. He did. I thought I played a bit of a blinder during that. I won't go into the technicalities of what had to happen, but I had to sit here. The producers that are in the gallery, Kieran and Carl, will probably be laughing now because they were like, Dave, we've got to do it on Zoom. We don't use Zoom, right? But Gordon had locked himself out of his Apple ID. Right, and on the morning, we're like, we've got Gordon Elliott, what are we doing? So I had to sit here with this, and I had a screen there. I had to look in the camera, but then when we were off camera, I had to go. Did anyone notice that? You probably see me looking to no one there, and it was I had quite a bit of pressure on me, is what I'm trying to say. And there was one horse that I forgot to ask him about, and it was Mortal. And he said, we've actually got 4 in that, and I give him a right shout, Mortal. So at a price, he used to be trained, of course, by Joseph O'Brien. You might want to be looking that way. And surely Fakir Delen is a great each-way bet. Well, this is the same race, and he mentioned that as well to me, and he looks like he's progressive and going the right way, but he did try and steer us the way of Mortal. I should say that he told us his bumper horse, ESN last, was the second coming as well, and it just didn't really fire. They're not on machines, of course. But look.
I tell you what, whisper it quietly, but isn't the Bob Ollinger of 4 or 5 years ago running in this race off a mark of 152?
Oh, come on, hang on. Let me have a look from who's on 152. Everyone's scouring down their cards. Oh, my Lord. And, of course, the horse that, before he went to Cheltenham, really helped cement this festival when winning the Grade 1 Novice. Sam Crow.
Yeah, Sam Crow.
There's a name.
I remember 4 or 5 years ago being on a show with DJ, David Jennings, and him telling me that without doubt the most exciting horse in Ireland for years to come was Sam Crow. He obviously
was wrong.
He obviously has won Grade 1 races. He won did he
Ballymore.
not win the Novice Chase there as well? Well, he went very close.
He won
did
he beat Mellon in it?
Yeah, he might beat Mellon
Marsh
in it.
2 seasons ago.
So, he's a very, very good horse at his best. But could you imagine seeing...
Well, we thought he was Deadman, didn't we? We thought he
Yeah.
was that kind of calibre, legendary calibre. I feel a bit for Sam Crow because here he is, running off 1-2 as a 10-year-old. He, of course, won on his comeback, didn't he? But I don't know, cheap pieces now.
Just imagine in 4 or 5 years' time, Bob Ollinger might be running in this race off a mark of 150.
You had to do it,
What do
didn't you?
reckon?
You had to do it. All right, should we get some tips out of the way? Are you jumping on the Elliott bandwagon, Ryan McHugh? Are you jumping the Kills and DJ bandwagon? I mean, how many times are people going to learn their lesson with Birchdale?
Yeah, I think probably the juice is out of price now, although I'm probably still going to put him up as my second selection in the race. He was very, very eye-catching the last day in the Paddy Power over 3 miles. If the race run over 2.5, which it is today, that last time, he would have won, I'd say, given how well he travelled into the race. He jumped really well on that occasion. He's running off a featherweight here. Mark McDonough, who's a decent little rider, is claiming 7 pound off 10 stone. So 9.7 is all he has to carry. Mark of 1.33, take the 7 off, of course. And then when you look at his hurdles form, what he done when he was over in the UK, trained by Nicky Henderson, that looks a really attractive mark. But the juice is probably gone out of price now, although I won't let him run. I'm going to go for 10-10 as my main selection in the race for Mark Walsh. He's in the JP silts as well. I'm going to back him in the each way market. Actually, what we'll do, G-Rod, here is go to the sportsbook, please. Given we're paying the extra places, 4 places on the 4 places quarter the odds on the exchange, and we're getting 5 places on the Betfair Sportsbook. So I'll have 25 each way on 10-10.
14 to 1.
Yeah, 14 to 1. I just think the ground is the key to this horse. Once there's no heavy in it, I think he can perform much better than his mark. And when you look back through his form, his last few runs, the last day he ran in the race in Limerick that Longhouse Poet came out of, he obviously went on to win the Tiestes. The ground was just much too soft for him on that occasion, and he ended up pulling up. They put cheek piece on him first time. That was his first run of the season. You go back down to the Punchtown Festival, he's second off a mark of 1.39. He probably should have won that day. He done a bit of idling after the last. And Brahma Bull caught him. That's notoriously a really good race and form to take from that. During the same week in Punchtown, he refused to race, so he can obviously rule out that run. And then going back to Naas then on soft to heavy ground, he was second in I think it might have been the Leinster National. So when you look through his form, I think everything points that he's better than a 1.42 horse. He's a 9-year-old now, so he's going to have to win one of these races sooner rather than later. But he's only carrying 10 stone 9. JP's a couple of runners in the race. Mark Walsh rides him, and I think he'll hit the frame at least. And if you wouldn't mind, G-Rod, my other bet then is going to be Birchdale. I might back him win. I know it's a 17. I know it's a 17 runner race, but around 5 to 1, I think it's probably worth having something on him win, because I wouldn't like to see him win and not be on. So I'm going to have 30 quid on him win, please, at around 5 to 1 in the exchange. But he's been really popular all week. He was around 12 or 14 to 1 on the sportsbook. So he's into clear favouritism now. Black Bow's been weak the last while, but 10-10 and Birchdale. So the 2 JP horses If Manila Times or Winter Escape go and win it now, I'll be raging because I'm on half the JP runners, Millie.
Well, he's got a lot of runners in it, the great man, hasn't he? He recently had his 4,000th winner. All the great things that were said about him. Thank goodness we've had him over the last 10, 20 years. JP McManus, obviously, he's always been a fascinating character, hasn't he? Ever since the days of Isterbrack and all that sort of stuff, and before that as well. But he's got a lot in here. Before I give my tip, actually, who is a McManus horse, I should say that just touched off in this race last year. 11 horses went from this festival last year, Batch, and they won. Whether they were 5 winners and 6 place horses for this festival and one at the Cheltenham Festival, there was also one that triumphed at Aintree, of course, and it's Manila Times, who finished. I backed him in this race last year. Painful memories. You get the VT up and you see me going, he's going to win, and off you go. The Burns horse came and did him on the line, and then he, of course, went and won under Rachel Blackman and created history. He fell on his comeback. Surely the road is going to be back to Aintree for him, and he's got another, 19 pounds on his back. So the one I like is the Shunter, who, of course, was there a more progressive horse in training last year than the Shunter? And put Emmett Mullins on the map, didn't he, as one of the target trainers? I thought he ran all right in his comeback. And when I saw him getting, £3 from the likes of Black Bow, he's a better horse than Black Bow. I can see why they're going for a handicap. You'll need lots to go right, I think, but he ran well at this meeting over hurdles last year, and he's the one for me. Batch.
Yeah, Shunter's an interesting one. But I've gone for a bit of a big outsider here each way.
Oh, I bet you're gutted.
I know, yeah. Or I might just sit out.
Didn't see it going like this, did you?
No, I did. I've gone for Definite Plan.
My lord, isn't he a big price?
Yes, I just think Dennis O'Regan doing 10 stone free says a lot, because he's a big lad, Dennis, strong as an ox. So 10 free would be sort of hard enough for him to do. Consistent, I would forgive him the last run, I think. Apart from that, he's been ultra consistent. A winner at Cheltenham last month, I think. So I'd give him a chance there, each way price. And I think it's one of them horses at Musselburgh, sorry for Connections. I think they were fatally injured. So.
Oh, were they?
So I think so, yeah. So sorry to Connections.
Rest and be
yeah.
thankful, was
yes.
it? Yeah. Oh, what a shame about that. McNeil's not having the greatest day then. Terrible to see that happen, of course. So we've seen it a bit, haven't we, on these shows, unfortunately. So yeah, thoughts with all Connections out there. Let's hope they all get round nice and safe in this. It's going to be fast and furious. Who's going to be the fastest for Graeme Rodway?
I like Black Bow.
Right.
You don't like him, do you?
Do you know what? I've got a hump with Black Bow.
Why?
Because I backed him in the bumper when he won on this card a couple of years ago, 2018. I remember it well. I was sitting in a cinema. My missus made me go to the cinema.
What was you watching?
It was a Saturday. I can't remember. I think it was Coco or something like some kids thing. I don't know. It was an everyman cinema, so I had a glass of wine with me. It wasn't the worst thing. But I'm on my phone. We're all like that, right? When we go to the cinema, you're like, "Can you turn your phones off, please?" You know, but yeah, no worries. You know,
Turn your phone off. Turn your phone off in the cinema means lower the brightness on your phone.
It's exactly that, absolutely. And Black Bow, I need to stop it oi-oying in the cinema as well. But Black Bow came out the top, and Patrick Mullins thought this was the best thing he'd ever ridden. He was too keen when he ran him in the Cheltenham Bumpy. Remember, I think he was fourth in the end, and it's never gone his way since. He's had all sorts of problems. But you think this is his time to
he's got
shine?
some good form, hasn't he? Energumen is all in his form. Then he, of course, finished sixth behind Chantry. That was a good race. I've said that already. I think Chantry could be a lively outside of the Gold Cup. And Chambly was in that race. Gasterian Falange was third in that race. Fusel Raffles. And last time finished second to Dun Vegan, who we just saw, finishing second behind Shack and Poussoir and beating Captain Guinness. So that's not bad form.
He's been put up £5 for that second, of course, but we did give him a Racing Post rating, the Magic 163. The Galopin de Champit. So look, it's very, very classy.
I'm trying to work out who owns this, because it's obviously similar to the old Florida Pearl colours, isn't it?
Yeah, it
the
is.
Roaring Water Syndicate, similar to the old O'Leary colours.
Yes, very, very similar.
They own Pink in the Park. G-Rod runs in the bumper today, and they own Mount Leinster as well. They own Mount Leinster.
They've got another horse that won it the other day on a weekday card as well. I forget his name. A horse.
I'll be catching up with the O'Learys when I go to Ireland in April. Yeah,
why are you going to Ireland in April?
Because I've got family in Ireland, and the O'Learys are actually drink in the local pub.
You're not related to them?
I'm not related to them.
No Gosden
but
link
I've
here.
spent some time at the races with the O'Learys. Good bunch.
Okay, all right, there you go. Yeah, Florida Pearl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolute one of our favourites. Max Flamingo's short here, Ryan. Why?
Yeah, well, I think Paddy O'Hanlon rides him. He takes off 7. He's able to claim here. He rode him the last day in the Grade 1 Novice Chase at Christmas, and he wasn't obviously able to claim on that occasion. He was only beaten 18 lengths when you translate that to what he's running in here, he's only carrying 10 stone 2 off a mark of 142.
Ooh.
He seems to improve plenty. They're actually, if they've jumped off.
They're all over the first.
They have, Ryan. I bowled you a bit of a curveball there, old boy. Sorry about it. I was trying to get... I couldn't really work out why Max Flamingo was so short, but I see the quote that his trainer's given in the paper, Francis Casey, it'll be the Irish national win, but it's Spyglass Hill. Of course, that's Henry de Bromhead horse. I know that. Hugh Morgan, that's an interesting ride for him, isn't it? Going over and taking that. Black Bow adopting a very handy posse in second. Rebel Gold up there as well. Horse that finished second. Cathal Landers taking the ride for him. Now, come on, I need some spotters here. I could definitely see Sam Crow out the back.
Yeah, and
Gallant John Joe's there. I thought he definitely had a chance as well. Max Flamingo, the aforementioned. And not great there, but he's handy as well. Foxy Jacks, who made a crazy mid-race move when Dave Jennings fancied him in the
plans.
Thyestes.
Just got a reminder in last.
Who did?
Definite plan.
Oh dear. Oh, there's no such thing as a 5-timer on this show, back.
Dear, oh dear.
You should have taken.
Say it.
We should have.
Say it.
Yeah, I'm sitting out this
You
one.
put another 0 on the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Put 2 zeros on. I see what you're saying, G-Rod. Absolutely. I've just done you the favour there.
Lovely.
Fakir Dulend. He's looking at me going, what do you mean? What you should have said? Quite right. Absolutely. Where's the shunter? That's what I want to see.
He's in
Where
the
is he
quarter
at the
cap,
moment?
isn't he? Yeah, right at the back.
Is he right at the back? Okay,
Yeah.
so again, could they... Look, with the shunter, is it going to be a handicap? Or I thought he would be running in things like the Ryanair bike, this season after JP bought him, of course. He's got that protector out for him as well, hasn't he? There's another big payday in him, that's for sure. Looking for Manila Times, the national winner. He carries, of course, the first hat. Unlike last year, they're being very patient with him. Where, Ryan McHugh, is your Birchdale and everyone else's?
Birchdale's, he's in a lovely position. He's around 7th or 8th in between horses. 10-10 is obviously in a nice position as well. He's about 5th on the rail, but Spyglass Hill takes them along with Black Bow. Obviously, it's tricky enough with the JP horse with so many runners, but 10-10 and Birchdale are the 2 most prominent JP horses, with Manila Times and the shunter right out the back. But at the moment, Black Bow is going to take his way to the front, but Birchdale is solid in running at around 5.8.
Yeah, he's got a lovely sit. Birchdale in the blue cap batch, hasn't he?
Yeah, just...
He didn't quite see it out in the Paddy Power Chase over 3. He's coming back. This is a tried and tested route in this race. But Black Bow has gone to the front.
Getting excited here.
Oh,
Dave.
yeah.
He's jumping well and
Had
he's
a fall
really
of that.
tanking along.
We had a fall of
The
that.
shunter's gone, has he?
Shunter's gone.
Oh, Carl Stemmer, the shunter's been that sort of day for me, unfortunately. Poor. He's all right. He was in an unseat.
Looks okay.
It looks like he's galloping off. All right, it was an unseat. All right.
Where's the
Ryan
Grand
Hazelby.
National winner? He's absolutely tailed off,
Having to
isn't he?
explain that one to the boss.
The
All
Grand
right.
National winner tailed off.
Well, what a surprise. They're going to try and get him down a little bit, aren't they, I would imagine, and just get a few runs into him.
They ain't falling no one day.
Manus will win the bump at the National again this year, won't he? Not with Manila Times.
How many was he going to have? About 10
Any
runners.
second now is going to be...
This is looking good for
He
Black
is
Bow.
tailed off.
Come on, Black Bow.
How far have we got left? Well, about 5 fences out. Sam Crow catching my eyes, having a nice little hunt round. He's going to have a say at the finish. Bit keen on the inside. Fakir Dulend, Gallant John Joe there as well. Foxy Jacks looking for a couple of... Well, he's jumping really well, isn't he? Black Bow. What's this on the other McManus? That 10-10. Is that on the inside too?
Yeah,
Ryan
that's
McHugh's
Ryan's
looking good
one,
here,
yeah.
isn't he? All right, it's going to start to get... Rebel Gold going well as well on the Cathal Landers. He's still going really, really well. Batch, if you had to pick one now, we can give you a second shot, man. You deserve it, the tipping you've had.
Lovely.
Black Bow.
One's
Yes,
gone.
good one,
Off he goes. Who was that?
Come on, Black Bow.
That went
Come
there,
on,
Max
Black Bow.
Flamingo. Unfortunately, Black. But you'll go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go for the
He's
front
looking
runner.
good.
Absolutely.
Blimey. Okay, all right. How short is he going then, Birchdale? Because he's creepy at the moment. Mark
Beautiful.
McDonough having a spin of his life. I imagine that Ender Bolger has gone. The money's down, my friend. He'll be coming back
He is
without the
travelling, isn't he,
Euros.
that Fav?
What's this on the inside? Mortal, who we gave a shout to, of course. Sam Ewing, very highly regarded over there, has ridden Tiger Roll and the likes
Yes,
of
come
Gordon
on, Black
Elliott.
Bow.
He's just
Come on,
hunting
Black
around
Bow.
on the inside. But Black Bow, Mullins in a handicap. He's sensing a little bit, isn't he? And this is Paul Townend, of course, the best in the business in Ireland at the moment. He doesn't think he's gone too soon. That's for sure, Fakir Dulend. Look at Manila Times. Just keep your eye on him with the national in mind.
Oh, he's still there, yeah.
He got tailed off, but he's far from done with, is he? All right, Black Bow takes... Is that 3 out?
3
That was
out,
three
yeah.
out.
That's the famous third last.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Come
Who's
on,
this in the
Black
red
Bow.
cap? What's this in the red cap? It's
Oh,
like
go
spotting
away. What's
Winter
that?
Escape, isn't it? It's like spotting Godolphin horses, isn't it? We need Ross Briley.
Come
Where's
on,
him
Black
when you
Bow.
need him?
Escape, yeah.
All of a sudden on the inside, it looks like
Let's have a good
10-10's
one.
finding it a bit
Go
hard.
on.
Black Bow
Yes.
gets up beautifully. I'll tell you what,
Oh,
Birchdale
come
wasn't
on, Black
great
Bow.
there. He's going to need his stone in hand, isn't he? Of course, Nicky Henderson couldn't
What
get
is
him to
this?
win at a festival. Can
What's
Ender
that?
Bolger.
Go
Foxy
away.
Jackson.
Winter
Look
escape, that
look
is.
at Birchdale
Winter.
cutting the corner.
Oh, this
I'll
is
tell you
over.
what
Oh,
price is
Blackburn.
going.
Over, G-Rod.
Come
I
on.
don't know. Look at Birchdale. If Paul Keeley gets this
Go
one over the line,
Blackburn.
and Dave Jennings, they'll never come back to
Come
us.
on,
Let him
Was
up
Winter
inside
Escape
there.
still there as well? Foxy Jacks.
Oh, what's Birchdale doing?
Look at
Oh.
Birchdale. This is plot
had a
landed,
little
isn't
look
it?
across.
Not manners, but
Blackburn.
Keeley will be insufferable if this goes in. Final fence. Birchdale's
No,
absolutely
stop.
cantering.
Stop.
He's got this, isn't he? Only Winter Escape, the stablemate. Surely not. Has he written the script here? I don't think so. Birchdale, the class come to the fore. Great to see Ender Bolger back. Foxy Jacks is rallying on the inside. Winter Escape, but Mark McDonough has had a peach of a ride. Timed it to perfection. And there's the shunter running through late. Is he look at the shunter rubbing in my nose, isn't it? He's coming between horses late. Oh, he punches the air. I love to see these jockeys doing it. Proper gamble landed. Right Chatfield out there. Who was with Keeley? Who was with Dave Jennings? Ryan McHugh, you even had a little bit on as well, you sneaky thing.
Yeah, Birchdale, well punted all week, and they got their due rewards there. It's been a tricky weekend for bookmakers. Obviously, Party Central won before we were on air as well. She went off 7-4 in the first handicap. Birchdale, as I said, well backed all week. 2.04 Blackbow was the in-run low for him. But I think Mark McDonough gave that a brilliant ride. He obviously went down the rail after switching in at about 3 fences out. Blackbow looked like he might have been home at that stage, but he gave it a lovely patient ride. And Winter Escape, JP McManus's other horse, I think he's an 11-year-old now. Yeah, he's an 11-year-old down the bottom of the way. He hit 1.6 his in-run and low was. He ran a brilliant race for Simon Turns and Aidan Anthony Howard. But Birchdale caught the eye in the Paddy Power, drops back in trip. Gamble landed.
Ender Bolger's had a bit of a spell in the wilderness, hasn't he? Somehow. I mean, even cross-country races, he didn't have runners in. Thanks, Ryan, for that, by the way. And they've bought the French monster, haven't they, for the cross-country as well? I forget his name, but they paid bundles for him. He's gone to Ender, thankfully. Again, when I got into racing, it was just a name that you knew. He was obviously a great rider, Risk of Thunder, Sean Connery. And again, I knew all about that. And I've met him a couple of times. He does come across as a really nice man. It's great to see these names still being able to pull it off. And forget, what's happening at Musselburgh now. Forget Matty Batch has just somehow not gone through the card. A favourite's in danger of going through the card at Leopardstown today.
Yes, it's a good day, isn't it? If you're
Honeysuckle next.
That's because I said there were a few flimsy ones today.
Yes, absolutely. Me and you are having that sort of weekend, I think. Favourites, I believe, are about to go through the card, aren't they? Let's see what's coming up next. We play a little bit of fun on that one. Right, we've got Honeysuckle coming up next at 3 o'clock. I think we all would be greatly surprised if the 2 to 9 shot didn't go in. Then what have we got? Then we've got Sir Gerhard at 3:35. It's looking good, isn't it? Then what have we got coming up? Oh, a tricky handicap, of course. Or the Liffey, that could be the one which the book. I mean, if the bookmakers don't get it in that, they've had a stinker, haven't they?
They'll be open
they
for
are
a
taking a pounding.
40 or 50 to 1 winner, those bookies, won't they? Those nasty bookies.
Barry Orr, of course, said in our paper on Friday, it'll be the handicaps which determine whether we win or lose. Ryan McHugh, are you starting to? I mean, Pink in the Park in the last. Are you starting to worry?
I gave Barry that quote, Dave, just to give myself a bit of a pat on the back there. No, Pink on the Park, yeah, like she's actually drifted. I'm surprised she's drifted. She's out to 6-4 when you consider what's won so far, what Willie Mullins and all the favourites after winning. She was around 11-10, 5-4 this morning. She's out to 2.5 now in the exchange. I think if we've to get any favourite to beat today, a Phillies 16 runner, Phillies bumper, where I think around 12 horses have won last time out. So I think if we have any chance of getting a favourite beat, it might be her in the last at a skimpy enough price like that. Honeysuckle will obviously win the next, and then you're into Sir Gerhard. So it could be a long, long day for bookmakers with all the multis building up. I'd imagine bookmakers on track wouldn't be getting hit as bad, considering it's mostly singles and people at the races like to pick out a bit bigger price selections. But off course bookmakers would be really reeling if the next couple of jollies can go in.
I mean, look, if the Liffey horse wins of Emmett Mullins, Carrera or whatever it's called, this is a seismic. I mean, this is big news. So I imagine our news desk at the moment, our editorial, they'll be hovering all over this. I haven't seen the chat, but I bet this is the sort of story that we love, isn't it?
Yeah, the big multiples rolling up.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
And look for this. Look, listen, there are two ways of looking at this. Of course, the favourites will now be hardened up as a result at Leopardstown. So. I don't know. They could do it, couldn't they? Of course. Do you remember Brandy Love, wasn't it, that went off favourite for Patrick Mullins in that mare's bumper last year? Everyone thought it was a certainty. Too Keen and Gronji came through and won at 18 to 1 for Team Mullins. So look, it's not all done with, but we've got to go up to Musselburgh because we've got more coming from there as well. We've got the 240 coming up your way. About an hour left for you here on Racing Post Live. Great to have you with us on this Sunday. It was a ropey start, a rocky start, but the water's calm now, hasn't it? And we're having fun. Batch is having a great day. Graeme Rodway here to help us, being proved wrong on all his theories all over again. Ryan McHugh just put himself back in the big time there. I'll tell you what, Kills is going to be. What price did he put that up in the weekend at the start of the week? Does anyone know? Birchdale.
No.
Would have been something.
Would be nice, wouldn't it?
He is, I mean, wow. Should we doff our cap a little bit to the great Kills? He's about to have half of February off, I'm afraid to tell you. No doubt we'll still
He
see
won't
him.
actually be off. He'll be working on stuff for Cheltenham. That's for sure.
Oh, of course, he's doing the guide, isn't he?
Yeah.
He has to, yeah. But it's a. I'm doing it as well, actually.
Yeah, well, it's a book that comes out, isn't it?
It's our book, but
Racing
you have to
Post
take
Guide,
your own time to do it.
Racing
basically, 'cause
Post Guide for Cheltenham.
yeah,
Which
we've got an ultimate guide coming out, which Tom Parker's doing. We're going to
Yeah.
see Tom Parker in the studio again very soon. I'm delighted to say. And we've got an actual Nick Pulford's guide as well.
Yeah, they're both published early March. So you get the book, the Ultimate Cheltenham book, which Paul Keeley will be heavily involved in. Dave Orton's going to be heavily involved in.
All over it.
And then we've got the Weekender Ultimate Guide, which hopefully is going to be along the similar lines to the big
that as
jump
well.
off.
I'm
You've
doing
been
the Gold
doing
Cup.
both,
Keith Melrose
aren't you?
will be gutted, but I got the Gold Cup.
Did you?
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, that's a bloody nose for the betting editor, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Who knew? Maybe I'll be senior betting editor soon. You
Yeah,
never
you should be.
Absolutely loving it. Look, we're great stuff. Let's go to Musselburgh, Ryan. Let's get some Betfair money on, shall we, for the charity? Who's it going to go to?
Yeah, I'm sticking with the favourite here in Broughton. It's obviously been a good day for favourite backers. I think Broughton, he's probably a little bit of value in fairness, I think, at just over 2-1. Although it's a handicap, obviously. I think I'm going to have 50 quid on him for Sean Bowen and Martin Keatley. The last day, he's gone up £13 for his win last time in a handicap hurdle where he beat the man DeLille, better known as a chaser, but he won that on the bridle. He carries 10-11 here. He's only a 6-year-old. I think it's his second handicap start here. He went off favour a handicap back in November at Cheltenham. I don't think 130 is the ceiling he can get to. I think he could end up running in something like an Albert Bartlett. I'm not sure whether he'll get in. Will he get into the Pertemps if he wins this? I'm not, as in office mark. Maybe he will, but I think he'll just beat these. I can't see much in the way of dangers, to be honest. The big galloper for Charles Burns has promised a lot, hasn't really fulfilled it. There's now an 8-year-old. Coastal World for Kieran Murphy was running around the likes of Kilbeggan and Ballinrobe. I don't think that's strong form in the context of this race. Wacool is on a 4-timer, but they're weaker races. I just think Broughton, 6-year-old, unexposed, going the right way. I think he'd be hard to beat.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Ryan, who's on a quick double. Yeah, it's been a good season for Martin Keatley. You put this chap up when he last won, didn't you? I
Yeah,
saw it in the
we
paper.
are going head to head here, Ryan and I, because I like Wacool quite a bit. He's my best bet of the afternoon. He's
Is
my
he?
nap of the day, Wacool.
The 6-year-old.
I thought he was very impressive.
He's a
last
bit of an
time
equine
out.
cash point, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very.
You like this batch as well, do
rapidly
you?
Yeah, I'll put this one up as well. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
This Broughton, last time out, I often write so I was doing, I think, a Monday tipping column. I often write it 2 days.
You put him up, didn't you?
2 days in advance, and I wrote Broughton as my headline tip, and he was 4-1 at the time. When I was doing the tip, he went off 4-6. So they knew what they had in that handicap, and they jumped him out in front, and they did not see which way he went. He absolutely hacked up. Of course, he's going to have to go on again. He's been whacked up £13.
It's a big half an hour for Martin Keatley, of course. We talk about El Bulger, big powerhouse trainer coming back, not from the wilderness, I don't want to say that, but from a quieter spell. And Martin Keatley had a couple of years, didn't he? It was quiet, and this season he's got fancied Sarasota Star as well in the 315. He's had winners at Cheltenham, he's been seeing some TV winners. It's great to see. And yes, if he wins this, Ryan McHugh. And this is the interesting thing about these Pertemps races, isn't it? Top 6, obviously, get a run if you're eligible mark-wise to get in. And I remember Ross Bridie famously on this show when we were covering one at Warwick saw a McManus horse coming through and he went, that can't possibly win, can it? Because they don't win the qualifiers, the McManus horses. That's what he was trying to say. And a lot of people, there's been a lot of conjecture, haven't they? It was top 8 once. Now it's top 6. You see horses, don't you, that disappoint but yet still finish 6th. And a lot of people there's been a lot of talk recently, especially this season. Should the Pertemps final be
Should they change it, maybe?
Yeah, should they change it a bit? Look,
how could they change it though? What would you have to win one?
I'm not the man for
How
that.
many
really.
qualifiers could you have? Could you have, I don't know, how many qualifiers could you fit in a season and say you had to win one?
Well, we're getting a bit political here, but
good,
Ireland have
wouldn't it?
cut down their qualifiers. And I remember someone said to me recently, if Gordon wants to get his horses, he's going to have to come to for all the qualifiers in England to do it.
Yeah.
So if you win a qualifier now, do you guarantee a run in the
Well,
Potence?
if you are of a certain mark, and Ryan's question to me was, would Brawson get in now off a mark of 130? So, look, if they win this, they're guaranteed a run,
Yeah.
aren't
It's
they?
hard to
130
know.
you can do, but you need the race to cut up.
Yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I would agree. I think DJ was the one who wrote it, wasn't he? David Jennings was the one. And I would agree. I think the race needs a shake-up, and the
Yeah.
idea of the race needs a They did try and do it by saying you had to finish in the first 6 to get in,
Yeah.
basically. And now it is the first 6, but then you're still getting horses who haven't really got.
We've had a
idea of
joint
winning.
fav win at
Yeah,
Musselburgh,
trying
haven't
to
we? In contrast to Leopardstown, where it all going in. So that was, of course, impulsive one. But apart from that, they could do with a fav up there. I like the brilliantly named Rat-Faced McDougall for Fergal O'Brien here, who took out the brilliant name, isn't it? Who took out the Edinburgh National. You look like a bit of a McDougall. I wasn't going to go Rat-Face.
You
I wasn't
changed that
gonna
quick,
go- I changed your vibe quickly. I'm quite good at doing that. But he's played up a little bit towards the start, I think. I suppose the very interesting one here, Ryan, and not to throw you a quick curveball again, with the top 6 in mind, has got to be the big galloper, isn't it, for Charles Burns?
Yeah, well, the big galloper's only rated 1-2-2. I still think he'd want to win this fairly impressively to get into the Pertemps, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He's now an 8-year-old, as I said. Like, he probably has potential off that mark, in fairness, to do something at some stage. But I think he's a bit long in the tooth now to suggest that he'd go and win here and then have a chance at Pertemps. Like, if he was a 6-year-old, maybe, or a 7-year-old that's had less runs, maybe you could give him a better chance. But I could see him running well here, but I'd be surprised if he's good enough to win.
All right, there you go. We've had it there. We've got another Irish rated, of course, with Tom Skoo on, with Kieran Murphy, Coastal World, who comes into this in some relatively well-known colours. He's got a nice mark, says Kieran Murphy. So these are good fun races, aren't they? In nap time for Graeme Rodway.
Yeah, I'm very confident about this one, David.
This needs to be better than Rico Boy yesterday.
If this one gets beat, we're worrying.
All right, okay. Listen.
I really think this will win.
Class comes to the 4G, you'll be fine. We've got one night in Milan in here as well. Seddon, I don't think any of us would be disappointed to see him win, would we? We've tipped him for the McNeil family. Of course, Harry Whittington. Is on again.
Always held in very high regard when he was trained by Tom George, Seddon.
Seddon.
I remember hearing a few words about how good he was before he won his bumper, but he's not quite gone on. Messy start.
They had to send him to Cartmel, Seddon.
Rawson's not off in front.
All right, off we go. And go another one for John McConnell, who's already hit the nets, of course, at Musselburgh with his runners. Unsurprisingly, yesterday in the Albert Bartlett trial, he's up there. Seddon, as Graham mentioned, very well regarded in his day. Rat-Face, the McDougall is up there as well. Good to see under Max Kendrick, who rides all of these horses, of course, for the ownerships. Bit keen on the inside is One Night in Milan for Brian Hughes and Keith Dougherty. Poor Brian Hughes, everything he's ridden there today is taking a keen-old badge, isn't it?
Heskey's going on here now. That's trying to set him a little bit. He's taking a bit of a keen hold as well.
Whack all out the back, we should say, chaps.
Nice, Conor
Not
O'Farrell.
problems?
No, he's done it before, didn't
Has
he?
it? No panic.
30 mile an hour, Matt. 30 mile an hour are going here, Bachelor.
30 mile an hour, yeah.
You'd never know it, would you? 30 mile an hour.
Who would have
again.
guessed it right?
Does the clock ever change at Musselburgh? In fact, it's gone down to 28 as soon as I said that.
You know when you're riding in a race batch, do you go, oh, well, let's go out there and go 30 mile an hour?
Yes, this is.
I'm sure. You've got a speedometer on the front there. We're going 35, we're going too fast.
You go too far.
Oh, no, we're back. The screen had just gone down, which I'm sure lots of you had seen. The poor old producers there today. They've had an absolute shock. They've come in, haven't they? Sunday lying, nice easy day. It's been absolutely
I thought that was a bit too relaxed when we got here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were punting
They were
away,
a bit
weren't they?
complacent earlier.
Absolutely. Talking about curling. Winter
Curling,
Olympics.
figure skating.
Absolutely. That'll learn them. All right, good stuff. So, look, it's Seddon's up there. He's going really well, isn't he? Well, look, gee, it's not the same, is it? Again, yesterday we saw the front runners over chasers making mugs of us all, didn't we?
Yeah. So not always the same over hurdles, is
Definitely
it?
not. You've got a theory on that, Batch, haven't you? I remember when we've talked about Ascot before. I've been with you, and you've said, unlike the chasers, they kick a bit too soon over hurdles, don't they?
Yeah, can do sometimes, yeah, and you just get caught. But over fences, if you can make ground over fences, it's a lot
Take them
better.
out the rhythm
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
A question I've got, I'm sort of going off the board a bit here. Should every horse aspire to be a chaser in the jumps game? Is it the where you want to be? Because you have horses that stick to hurdles, don't you? And it can be a more
Shame that
valuable
Mel
route.
Rose isn't here, isn't it?
Well, very lucky he's not here. We're not. 2 weeks till the Ida I've got until I've got the pleasure of Quizmaster.
I think it depends which way you look at it, Dave. You can see some hurdlers who say, yeah, these are going to be great chasers, and they don't go into. I mean, prime example to me, I'm never going to knock him, is Big Bucks. If he could have jumped a fence, he would have won a Gold Cup. But bottom line is, he couldn't jump a fence. He was no good at jumping fences. And then you look at other horses. A horse that springs to mind is a horse of Sean Curran's that won the Scottish Grand National.
The one that you were supposed to
Iris
ride.
de Balm. It was tiny. If you said this would make a great chaser, you'd be looking at people going, you're absolutely mad. But it just absolutely thrived over a fence. Loved jumping a fence. It was like it was on springs. So
And you get champion hurdle horses, don't you, G, that get to the age of 8 because they're so good in the champion hurdle route. And, I mean, Bouvier tried it, didn't he? You know, that sort of thing.
They were talking about taking Paisley Park chasing, weren't
That
they?
is a great case in point, Paisley
But they
Park.
haven't decided to go, and that has paid off, hasn't
I
it?
think that is the route to go. I think you get to a level, if you're at the very top over hurdles, that you shouldn't be. You should just leave it alone a little bit.
Yeah, I think once you're a real top-class staying hurdler, I don't think there's any need to go chasing.
No.
But some people want to. Do you remember Iris's gift?
Yes.
He won a Stayers hurdle, and they wanted to go chasing with him.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever went on to be quite as good a chaser as he was over hurdles.
No,
though.
he didn't.
A lot of them don't.
No, he didn't. Yeah, again.
If you take Isterbrack, if you saw the way he jumped, the last thing he would have been doing is jumping a fence on him.
Well, lucky he didn't, then, isn't it? Yeah, all right, okay. So, said and then back to Musselburgh we go. It was great to have a chat with Mattie
This
Thatch.
Brawson's tanking along.
Which one?
Brawson.
Brawson. Well, they haven't, I mean, they've gone. Look, we're finally seeing over 30 miles an hour on the clock. Even the big gallopers getting closer. Ryan McHugh, let's bring you back in. What's the market like?
Brawson, G-Rod called it 2.88, so it's been shortening all the time. Wakul, though, hasn't been drifting. He's just ridden in a different position. He's out the back, but he's still only around 11-4 chance. Brawson landed on all fours there. Go, another one is making the running, but he's a big price still in running. Out wider is said, and the big galloper is travelling really well into the race. In fairness, he's in there at 4-1 at the moment now, but he's very wide on the track. He's about 5 off the rail. Brawson's sitting in a lovely spot, and Wakul is tracking him out the back. So there's a lot to be played for at this stage, but the big galloper is the big mover in running. He's now into 3-1, the big galloper.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, he's cruising. He's just gone into a share of second there with go another one
Number
on the
2
inside.
is cruising. What's number
I'm
2?
not sure what Brawson's
Capilano
holding on to
Bridge.
here. I'm not sure. Come on, boys. Where's Wakul? Now they're getting running. All of a sudden, we're broken 32 miles an hour going into Musselburgh. Now, this is where I think it becomes slightly demanding because
Come on, Wakul.
it's a long way from home. Look at now the big galloper. Nothing going better than this. He's going short, isn't he? But look at Wakul. Has he been given too much to do, boys?
No, not at all.
Oh, I like it, Connor. But look at Connor Farrell. Oh, here we go, G. The nap is on the steer at the moment.
Wakul.
You've got Charles Burns to beat. I would say Ratface doing his very best for
big
Dave
galloper.
Orton, but he's
Come
not
on, the
quite going to be
Graeme.
good enough, is he?
Come on,
Seven
Wakul.
backing out of it. Brawson finding this a bit too
Come on,
tough.
Wakul.
Here comes Wakul. He's up to the front.
Wakul.
This could be it.
Come on,
Look at him. He's
Wakul.
on the steel. This is Paul Carver in Archibald, isn't
Come
it?
on, Wakul.
The big galloper's not going to lack the turn of
Come
foot.
on.
Brawson
Come
not going
on,
to go. Another
Wakul.
one there. All on the last.
Come on.
1, 2, 3. Up and over he goes.
Come on,
What's he
Wakul.
got? A big galloper. Oh no, boys. He's going to outstay you, I think.
Wakul.
Unbelievable scenes here for the first time this afternoon on Racing Post Live. Oh no, Charles Burns has done you. Just like on this day last year when Off You Go
can't
did that to
believe
Manila Times. Charles Burns goes to Musselburgh.
He's got there too early.
Connor O'Farrell looked like he
I'm
was
sure
coming
said
there.
He gave him too much to do.
It was cruisy, wasn't he? Oh, Ryan McHugh, that was exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've doubted Charles Burns before and got my fingers burned. I think I have the same happen there. What a great training performance, I think it has to be said, to get him to win. It was a disappointing run, obviously, the last day he ran just over a month ago. Really good ride by Adam Wedge. He's kept on well to win. And the second, Wakul, 1.17 G-Rod selection was the in-run alone. That Conor Farrell, I thought, produced him to perfection to come there at the last. If he was good enough to go on and win, he probably would have, in fairness. But the big galloper probably had that extra couple of pounds up his sleeve. You look at his form coming into the race, 7 and 9. You look at Wakul, won his last 3. So I think after the last, I think his handicap mark probably kicked in. And Brawston finished third. He's not a horse I'd give up on. He was obviously beaten today, probably well beaten. He's beaten 6 or 7 lengths, but I still think there's more to come from him, and I wouldn't give up on him. But the front two pulled well clear, and a really good training performance by Charles Burns.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he must be a frustrating horse because he looks the part, obviously well named, isn't he? And this is only his second win to date. Now, a mark of 1-2-2. Unlucky, lads, because you were giving him what? You were giving him, what, £9?
£9, yeah.
Adam Wedge wanting for Charles Burns. That's an interesting association, isn't it? That they'll need. He's not going to, probably won't get into a potential, will he, G? I mean, even if they put him up £8 for that onto 130, you're praying, aren't you, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that. That horse has been beaten 29 lengths, 68 lengths, 37 lengths, 85 lengths and 23 lengths on his last 5 or 6 starts. I mean,
When he won,
how do you pick that?
well, look, when he won, well, it's because it's Burns, isn't it? And it's probably
Two
finding the
words,
right race.
yeah, 2 words. Charles Burns. That's the problem, isn't it, G-Rod? It's so hard to know. I suppose the fact he sent him over, like before the race, as I said, I could see him running well without winning. He surprised me to win, but
Those of you that have got your members club out there, Ryan, and you included, just click on the the Big Galloper now. Hover over his one win when he was backed into 7-4 favourite. It's fair to say the comment in running is rather large, because trainers' representatives said regarding the improved form, and it's a massive essay which you find out there. Because
do you think that?
But this wasn't a smash job, was it?
No, but do you think there has to be another long explanation of?
There's one coming.
You know, there's no doubt about it. It's going to be.
Well, when you look,
it's going to be. Can Charles Burns come to the weighing room, or a representative of Charles Burns please come to the weighing room? That is certainly going to come over the tannoy at Musselburgh in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
I'd imagine he's pressing refresh on the exchange at the moment, Ryan, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, when you look as well at that race you pointed out in Roscommon, the maiden hurdle he won. The ground was heavy that day, and they felt that the heavy ground is what helped them. Now, it was certainly by no means heavy in Musselburgh today, so they're going to have to come up with a different excuse for the stewards today. But I'm sure they'll find one in the book of tricks that they have.
Shan Waller, he beat 30th of September, and it says, trainer said regarding the improved form that the horse had been off for summer and come back for his run at Listowel. Well, the rider that day had thought he'd run well. He felt the ground was very different today. His charge was receiving allowances from the winners in the race and also using a rider's claim as well. Kevin Bruder got the money that day.
The steward noted the explanation.
And the stewards will end up noting the explanation. But look, it wasn't a smash job, but it was the sort of race you could see him running well in, that's for sure. And Charles Burns takes the honours, another Irish horse.
He's good though.
Goes and wins the British race.
Wedge, Adam Wedge is good, isn't he?
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I've said before on this show that I used to watch him in point to points in my local tracks, and I remember Jonathan Neeson, who is the point to point doyen of doyens over in this part of the world, and he said to me, "Watch out for that boy," when he was very, very young. And they used to have it off between the flags. He's now doing it, of course, Welsh National and the likes.
And he was in the shadows of Paul Maloney for a while. Great fella to learn off.
Seems like a long time since Paul was riding, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't that long ago he went. Of course, the Ruckers have put a great deal of faith into him, haven't they? Yeah, and he gets outside rides as well and does very, very well. What I like about him, he sits quiet, doesn't he? Do you remember when he won on Ansam at Ascot, when he beat Phoenix Way? He probably outstayed him that day, didn't he? But that was some ride, that was, because he looked in a little bit of trouble, and he just gets more out of horses and presents them well, all the things that Posty and Batch love to see.
You don't get to ride for Evan Williams if you're not half decent.
No, you don't. You're a big fan of Evan Williams.
I like
you?
Evan Williams.
I don't know why I say that surprisingly. You don't often.
Yeah.
He hit a landmark in the week of training a winner at every British course.
That's right, yeah.
I have a lot of time for Evan Williams because I don't think that he messes anyone around. He's a very straight talking kind of bloke.
Last time I came
guy.
up against him, Evan Williams, I was in the car park at Ascot, car park 2 at Ascot, which is the one that's kind of opposite where the horses walk across to go in. And it was the meeting before Christmas a couple of years back. And Emma Lavelle was there, and all the trainers were there, and it was frozen ground. And all of them were going in, and they were, you could see they were hopeful. One trainer didn't get out of his car. It was Evan, and he was kind of looking at us going, "Why am I here?" He knew it was going to get called off, and lo and behold, they called it with about half an hour to race. Back a long time ago, that was. Anyway, shall we move on? Because the Queen is about to strut her stuff. Diamond Jubilee, call it what you like. It's Honeysuckle. She comes out in the 3 o'clock. Ryan McHugh.
Yeah, 1.24. There's not much to say about, not much more else to say about Honeysuckle. She's actually hardened up in the market in the last few days. In fairness, punters this morning were happy enough taking the 4 on. She's now just shortened that. 1.42 is the biggest she was matched at, albeit for small money. That was probably in the last couple of days. But she's 1.24 now. Zana here is clear second best. Same at 9.0. Saint Noir then is in there at 18. Echoes and Rain 36. And 110, heaven help us. But I think there's a bit of a plot to this race, I think, outside of Honeysuckle, and the fact that Zana here, obviously, I think he'll appreciate a step up and trip at some stage. Whether they target maybe the entry hurdle or not, I'm not too sure. And when you look at the likes of Echoes and Rain, she's in off, I think she's right about 143. I'm surprised they didn't go for a handicap with her this week. So if she was to run well, she might end up going up a couple of pounds, but still could be well in come one of the handicaps at the Festival of March. And of course, heaven help us, there's a really good record at Cheltenham. She'll be in the mares and the stayers hurdle. I'd imagine she'd run in the mares. So even though it's all about Honeysuckle, I'd definitely be taking an interest in the remaining horses in the race. My bet in the race is going to be Saint Roy in the without market. G-Rod, please. I'm going to put him up at around 5-2. He was too keen. I'm going to have £50, please, G-Rod. He was too keen the last day of Christmas when Rachel Blackmore rode him. I don't think Rachel Blackmore never ridden him before that. Mark Walsh knows the horse much better. I'm just hoping they go a little bit quicker here, that he can settle, because he pulled his way to the front on that occasion. He's definitely a quicker horse than Zana here. Whether he's better than him, I'm not. That's not 100% sure. But a 5-2, I think that represents a little bit of value in the betting. I have him a little bit short on that myself. But it all revolves around Honeysuckle. She's odds on around 4-7, 8-13 for the Champion Hurdle of March, and she's 1-4 here to land this Grade 1.
Look at the scenes around the paddock to see
Marvellous.
Honeysuckle. There's absolutely 4 or 5 deep around the paddock to see Honeysuckle. What a star she is.
Honestly, I said when we introed this show yesterday on the Saturday, the usual slot. It's a great time to be. This is what we wanted last year, Bachelor, wasn't it? We were coming in here, weren't we? And we thought, London was deadly quiet.
Yeah.
And no one was at race courses. We kept the show on the road. We lifted the spirits. We've got audiences that we never had. Hopefully, we're keeping them a bit now through that unprecedented time with the likes of Shishkin and an Ergami, with the likes of Paisley Park last week, who are turning up and doing it. The King George, great to see, wasn't it? All the crowds that are there now back in Ireland. And when they, got the restrictions put on them again over the winter period, before that they were dribbling back. And you saw them, didn't you, on some of the big days. They go and support their folk heroes over there. And there's no bigger favourite out there at the moment, I don't think, is that Honeysuckle. She's the 1-1-1 machine. And she's come out of mares. They could have gone chasing with her if they wanted, but this is a great case in point about going chasing, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the one that has to stay.
Yeah, definitely. You wouldn't. Why would you want to go chasing? You come back every year, win these races, and I've been lucky enough to go to Leopardstown a couple of times, and they just love the racing out there.
Relaxed atmosphere.
Relaxed atmosphere, and do you know what? I know Honeysuckle's in the paddock there, and they're 4 or 5 deep, but most races they are. There's always a massive crowd there.
Yeah, a little bit of rain coming down, but again, I think the ground is what it is now. And thank goodness for that. Thank goodness we're not saying, like we were in 2019, there are more non-runners than there are runners, all that sort of thing. I think we need to bat this one off now. This Dublin Racing Festival is a jewel in the crown, isn't it, each season?
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. I've been to the meeting a few times, but not as the Dublin Racing Festival. It used to be 2 days, didn't it? They used to be in January, 2 days, 2 weeks apart. The Irish Gold Cup and the Irish Champion Hurdle. They brought it together to make it one big festival. It's definitely improved the quality, and some people have argued it improved the results of Irish horses at Cheltenham. Now that was only been going 3 or 4 years, so it's very small evidence that that's based on. But on what we've seen
I think
so
they're just
far,
better, don't you, G? The horses that they're bringing over.
some of them are better.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
I mean, this horse, the Honeysuckle, is obviously in an absolute different class to anything else.
Yeah.
And they all have to give us £7, of course. Should we get onto the mare's allowance, or should we not?
No, let's not do
let's
that.
not.
Let's not do that.
Echoes in Rain.
If she didn't have the mare's allowance, what would she be rated? I saw quite a lot written about that in the week. She'd be quite clear a 170 horse, wouldn't she?
Oh yeah.
Without question.
Without doubt. Yeah.
Without doubt.
Echoes in Rain is the other horse who gets the £7 mare's allowance, and she's the one who I think could chase her own.
Now, talking about being keen, I'm with Ryan, by the way. I think Zanahiyr, I don't get the difference in prices between Zanahiyr and St. Ra. St. Ra, it's only his second run when he came back with a charge at Christmas time after being thrashed by Honeysuckle in this last year. He's a better horse than that. Of course, they went into last season thinking he was their Champion Hurdle contender potentially. And he was a bit disappointed. I thought they might have gone chasing with him. So it's interesting they haven't. I thought he was the one to go second. Now they're putting some new aids on Echo and Rain. It's fair to say that she can pull for her head.
She can, yeah. She used to be like a Terre front runner. Then they changed to holding her up, and she won well at Punchestown, wasn't it, last season? I did some quick stats on Mullins in tongue straps, because yesterday we were saying it might be a negative with the horse that he won with. The Drifter. Vauban, yeah.
Is it Vauban? Vauban, we'll call it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I think
Vauban.
I think tongue strap is 11 for 33, so that's 33%. Now Mullins' strike rate is obviously around about that anyway. But it's certainly not a negative to suggest that the tongue strap is going on to Echoes in Rain with the hood. I just am expecting her to run a lot better than she has done this season here. I think that she could definitely chase home Honeysuckle at a bigger price than... I know you two are with him, but I do not like St. Ra's all time.
I just think
it's
a price thing for me here. It's a price thing for me. When he got beaten at Christmas time last year, was it by Abracadabra? No, in the race that he was supposed to win, that Abracadabra flopped in as well. Anyway, I just think we haven't quite
So
seen
I
the
have a
best of
quick
him
word
yet.
for the one that rubbed the noses in the one that rubbed them the British noses in it.
Yes,
last year
please,
more than
because she's the
anything.
pace angle, isn't she? Heaven help us.
Yeah, I mean, this was the result that really rubbed the British trainers up the wrong way. Was Paul Hennessy, and your everyday greyhound trainer.
Well, he's a greyhound legend.
Yeah, coming over to beat all of the British trainers with Heaven help us.
But we gifted her the lead that day,
yeah,
didn't we?
we gave her an easy lead. It was a very slowly run race. I
Yeah.
remember.
But she
some
had,
of
of
those out
course,
the
won a
back.
bumper at the track.
I
And
think it was Aidan Coleman was saying, just forget the form. I was out the back and they went no pace. And Heaven
yeah,
help us.
he did, yeah.
But that really was a kick in the nuts for us.
But she ran
British.
really well last time, didn't she, behind Royal Kahala? And I would have, I know the trip might not be ideal, but she's going to lead.
She's
and they're
gonna make
lining
the
up,
run
she's
in,
going to lead.
yeah, she's gonna
Zanna
make the
here's an interesting goal. We haven't really given him much love, have we? He looks like a grinding two-miler. Of course, people haven't really forgiven him that expensive defeat in the Triumph. Amazing how that happens
He
with
got
punters.
undone by a slowly run race there, Colixios.
But he came back, didn't he? You know, when everyone thought he might need the run, he beat Castmate, who might go and win the race when we're off air. Dave Jennings is, you know, absolutely loves that horse, Castmate, and he thrashed him on. And again, he's done nothing really wrong since, has he? He's run really well.
I do think they need to step him up in trip now.
5-year-old struggles a bit. I think
Yeah.
he might want to step up.
Yeah, I
in
think
trip
he
as well.
needs to step up and trip. Are
Aintree
we worried
hurdle
about the
for him.
Bromhead deform? Been a bit quiet.
Bromhead
late?
deform.
Bromhead deform.
You do what I do.
De Bromhead.
Rachel de Blackmore, I used to do.
Blackwell.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, 0-0 so far. Look, they're off and running. We'll talk
Wouldn't
about that
worry too
afterwards.
much about that.
One
Yeah.
of the races of the entire calendar. It is the Irish Champion Hurdle. Remember, Isterbrak racking them up. Of course, Max Joy, the likes of that. Ned Kelly, great horses. Hardy Eustace, Sizing Europe, Brave Inca, Solwit,
Yeah.
Hurricane Fly Voying, to name but a few. Thankfully, we've got a proper pace on because the
Isterbrak.
front runner. The front runner, oh, she flew that, didn't she? Honeysuckle. Unlike Zanna
He
here,
made a mistake.
who wasn't great. Sanwa right out the back. Ryan McHugh said this was too keen last time. He's settled a little bit better
Yeah,
because he's
settled
got the anchor out. Lovely to see the rain on the camera at Leopardstown, isn't it? And crowds all cheering their favourite. I mean, this is one of the key for the multiples, isn't it? I would imagine of the whole weekend, Ryan, despite the fact she's prohibitive odds.
Yeah, and key for Cheltenham multis as well, Dave, don't forget. She's odds on now for the Champion Hurdle, and anyone that has been doing multis, we've seen plenty in the last few weeks. I've been just throwing Honeysuckle in, thinking that she's just banker material and that she'll win whatever turns up. Heaven help us is going a strong gallop at the front. Zanna here made it. He probably doesn't jump like a Champion Hurdler, does he? He makes mistakes as he can go round. The two horses out the back are getting a nice lead, but Echoes and Rain is pretty keen, it must be said. But Honeysuckle, she went off 1.254 on. She's now 5 on. And I could see that price only getting shorter, given the way the race is shaping up.
Zanna here jumps like a horse. That is the pace is a little bit too lively for him.
It's too light. We saw it yesterday with Fedor, didn't we? When they turned for a sprint, he just got caught out of it. Triumph Hurdle horses tend to want a trip as they go forward, don't they? Because it's a tough grinding. A lot of them are good stayers on the flat, that sort of thing, really. But nicely strung out, which is what you want to see. No Mickey Mouse paces here, please. And she sits in third at the moment, Honeysuckle. Again, look. What do you think they're going to do? And this is a big one, of course, this for Rachel and Henry, isn't it? This is they're going to let her rip.
Don't think it matters, does it? They can put her wherever she wants, and she
A lot
should
of people
probably
would have
go
been
and
doing
win.
the Bruce Millington thing and back in the distances here. Bruce, I guarantee, wherever he is at the moment,
Would have done the distance.
he loves
Yeah.
it. He
Loves it, yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes on this show we're cheering like the greatness of the Gold Cup, and he's looking for the fifth and the third. Don't win too, don't
a
win too
little
far.
bit
and all that
sluggish
sort of thing.
there, Honeysuckle, but she was okay.
Yeah, she's just ambling along,
Yeah.
isn't she? And it's good to see her taking her chance. A lot of people were saying that she was the
The
important
race
horse
for
through the
second is
week.
going to be interesting in the big race between you and I, Echoes
It
and
is.
Rain and
It
St.
is.
Bra.
And again, Heaven help us might be slightly overlooked in that as well because she's in a lovely rhythm. We know she stays well. And Royal Kahala still could be an interesting horse come festival time in the spring. She was just touched off by that
I'm not
last
sure
time
St.
around
Bra's
here.
going that well.
No.
Isn't he?
I don't think he is.
Oh, okay. All
think
right.
you're
I
in
haven't really
trouble here.
seen him yet. I must admit, my eyes are just continually drawn to the mare.
Oh,
She was a bit
Honeysuckle,
deliberate there, Honeysuckle.
deliberate.
St.
No,
Bra
she
hit
put
that.
herself right. Don't worry.
St. Bra hit that, and doesn't the exchange mirror his chance at the moment? Echo and Rain now starting to warm up. Spoke to Gordon Elliott on Friday, and he said, "Look, this is the one race we all want to win. All of us trainers, really. It'll be surprising if we beat Honeysuckle, but trust me, Zanna here is going to be giving his all. Yeah,
St. Bra's
Race
beat.
beat, yeah.
St. Bra's really disappointing, isn't it? He just doesn't look a happy horse, does he, at the moment? He's getting outpaced out the back. Echoes in Rain now has dropped ahead. Is it too late?
Here come the big two, Zona.
She's
here.
about to
Coming
get
onside.
done, isn't she? Heaven help us, I think.
Yeah.
Here we
The
go.
handicap winner from last year. We're coming to 2 out, guys.
Yeah, Honeysuckle
Oh,
hard
she's
on the
tanking.
bridle.
When did she go one?
Oh, she's seen one, Rachel. Woohoo!
She saw a
Look at
stride
that.
there.
Go on.
Zanna here
Zanna
now
is
doing
hard
his
under
best. The
it.
big two in the
Oh,
market
yeah.
there. Rachel sitting pretty.
Bye-bye. It's
She
all
just,
over.
look at this.
guy.
Whoosh, off we
down the
go.
Brucey. What's
Around the
the-
home
what's the
turn. Looks
distance,
like Echoes
Bruce?
in
Go
Rain
on,
might get the
Echoes, get up for
second.
second.
Come on, G-Rod's sensing the second. We're not going to go
Go
there
on,
yet. You
Rach.
can look for that man if you want, because we are watching
Forget
greatness
that
here.
race.
Come
She's
on.
coming to the last 7 clear. Zanahir out on his feet. He paid for trying to go with the great mare. She's just filling her lungs a little bit coming to the last. This is what you want to see, though,
Here we
isn't
go.
it? Get your stars
Come
up.
on.
Rachel sees a
1, 2,
stride.
3.
She's
There
over
we
all
go.
right. That's
Over.
absolutely fine. And she's cruising away.
It's a thriller for second.
She get a little bit
Come
tired
on,
up
I
running,
need to see
isn't
what's
she?
going to win second. Honeysuckle's miles ahead.
She's
won.
idling in front, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's definitely idled there. And
What's going to finish second?
with daylight in the minute,
Echoes in the Rain.
and it's going to be it's
Zanahir.
Zanahir. Hard
Unbelievable.
luck, G. Ryan, I don't know really why we're coming to you here. I suppose it's going to be, is there any hardening anywhere? How big did she go? Surely not above her pre-race SP, did she?
No, she actually didn't, Dave. She was 5 on after they jumped the first hurdle with Anna here, kind of getting in tight. I just love the way she won the race before the turn in and then gets to the last and kind of slows into it like she has done in the past a lot of times. But she's so far clear and so much the best that they didn't get near her. But I just like the way she puts the race to bed, knows she's done enough, and then she kind of just does her own thing then for the last couple of 100 yards. But really facile success. I don't know what you do with the rest of the horses. I suppose Anna here wants to step up and trip. He looked like he might have finished 4th turning in. At the end, he stuck on for 2nd. So he might be interested in over 2.5 miles and something like an entry hurdle. Echoes and Rain might go back handicapping. But a league of our own, Honeysuckle. And I presume we're going to be unchanged at 4 to 6, or we might go 8 to 13. I have to confirm that with the lad.
What's going to beat her, Ryan, I suppose, is the question at Cheltenham, isn't it? Let's move on from that. She definitely, there you can see the market. Look, so I guess the value lies on the exchange. If you can queue up there, appreciate it.
1.68, is it? Yeah.
He's obviously had a lot of problems appreciating it.
Glasses checked.
Epatont.
Oh, she's just forget it. I mean, she's gonna win
Calixios
that
Tom's
race.
put up, hasn't he? But who, of course, winners from this meeting last year all sat out, of course. I
That's a
don't know.
massive price. Tommy's Oscar.
Fascinating story, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you it's hard
It
to
wouldn't
see.
be too.
that,
You'd get a run for your money. You back that each way.
He'd be travelling at some
Yeah.
point, wouldn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, he's going to help the story of the race for sure. But listen, I don't know. This is one case, I think, where we're not too worried about what price she's going to go off. I mean, we all want to see her win the champion hurdle, don't we?
100%. Yeah.
No greedy price things going
No.
on here.
Oh no, she's.
If Appreciate It gets a run in, which you don't imagine he will, he's probably going to go straight there now. He must have had problems, wasn't he?
Oh, she's brilliant, and they're not gonna get near her. I mean, they won't even get within 10 lengths.
Was she
probably.
idling after that? Look like she
yeah.
was.
A little bit, yeah.
She was racing a tad awkwardly, people would be thinking that.
She's the best mare that we've seen in years.
Dawn Run.
Better than Annie Power.
Yeah. I'll make you
She's
right on that.
absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, of course they've had Cavega, haven't they?
Yeah, she's superb.
Obviously, the mayor's programme, they could, like it is on the flat. It's all towards the breeders, isn't it? A very valuable programme now. But this is one move they had to make. When she beat Benny de Dieu in the mares, that was when I was on her big prices in there, and I sort of got off her when she won her first, the champion. I just thought. A little bit skinny, but she just wins.
A mare's for the ages, wasn't it? Wasn't that Apple's Jade in that race as well?
Oh, that you're thinking about
It was a good
Limini's race, aren't you?
Or was that Limini? I can't remember. But
Honeysuckle has beaten Annie's Jade, I think.
Do you know what, Dave? I
Apple's
think
Jade
she's
race.
that good. She wins on this ground. She's won on all sorts of ground.
yeah, exactly.
But if you to say her best ground is probably goodish, I think she
Came for the point-to-point sphere as well, which people
I think
forget
she
about.
just struggle. She doesn't struggle. Obviously, she still wins on what sort of ground. I just think because if you look at her knee action, it's quite low. She hasn't got a knee action that was going to benefit heavy ground.
Here's one before we go back for the last race at Musselburgh at a 3:15. Here's one for you. What price should she be for the champion hurdle?
What price should she be?
What time or what price is she going to start?
Uh,
4 to 7 at the moment on the sports.
yeah, I
book,
mean,
right?
she's
So
going to go off 2 to 5 on the day. Would you say?
3's on.
Maybe.
3's
Well,
on.
that'd be the shortest
If
price.
Appreciate It doesn't turn up,
Champion hurdle favourite.
Three's on if
Three's on.
Appreciate didn't turn
it's a
up.
race that can cut up a bit as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest dangers are probably Sharjah and Epatont, who both finished behind her, miles behind her last year.
Yeah, and I mean, if Henry gets his horses firing going into the festival again, then
And Appreciate It. I think you hit the nail on it. Is there something wrong with him? There's got
they've done the right thing by keeping him, I think, because he's an 8-year-old, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but I tell you, have they done the right thing with Fernie Hollow out? I don't know. What did we make of Blue Lord yesterday? I thought he was one to take on in the Arc. A lot of people were screaming at telly there. A lot of people were impressed with him yesterday, grinding it out.
I don't think it was that good.
Yeah,
No.
Edwardstone for me in that.
Yeah, I like
didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season, but
Interesting.
yeah, horse that didn't quite cut the mustard last year. But anyway, we digress. Let's go back then, shall we? It's Sarasota Star time for some people out there up at Musselburgh. Brawson didn't get the money. Will he be getting it for Martin Keithley here? Ryan McHugh.
Yeah, he's strong enough at around 3.55, Dave. This is obviously a really tricky race, I think. I was hemming and hawing whether to put up or better or not, but at the moment, the Mouse Doctor is nearly the outside of the field. Well, he's one of them anyway at around 11.5. And the fact he's a winner around course and distance over hurdles for Tony Mann a few years back. Philip Enright actually went over and rode him that occasion. It was off a much lower mark, but the ground doesn't look too bad there today, and I think he wants a bit of better ground. So I'm just going to have a small bet on him. I'm going to have 10 win and 10 place on him. G-Rod, if you wouldn't mind, please, on the Mouse Doctor for Tom Midgley and Adrian Keithley. Adrian Keithley obviously had a winner earlier on with brought up Mattie Bachelor's fabulous 4-timer on that occasion. So hopefully he can strike again with the Mouse Doctor. But it's a trappy enough race, so I'm just going to play it small enough stakes, and hopefully we can get a few more quid for charity.
Oh, there's a trapdoor waiting for us in this race, Ryan McHugh, isn't it? Absolutely right. And I'm about to get some pelters from Graeme Rodway, I think, because I've gone for a horse who's turning out 3 days after running. Overjumps how fickle Dave Orton is, but lucky flight for me. I just again, a little bit like the Irish Gold Cup yesterday. You can pick holes in all of them, and Keatley's had his horse run, and then Tom Midgley takes a ride again on the Mouse Doctor, who's a horse I quite liked. I liked him winning with Tony Martin. Of course, had a winner yesterday at the DRF, but lucky flight for me. I thought Saratoga Star, as much as I like him, might struggle to give so much weight if this guy gets it together over fences. G-Rod, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, this is another one of my no-bet races. I had 2 today, and this was the second of them. I thought it was an incredibly difficult race. Like Ryan, he said it's very trappy. He's a very small wager on it. So I was going to leave it alone. But I think that our horses who unseated their rider or fell and then turned out quickly,
They probably have a better.
that's quite good,
Yeah.
I think.
So
So you've got it right on both ways. You've got it right saying that they come back too quickly, but you've also got it right saying that it's good to be on horses who didn't get round last time but come back quickly.
it's hard being me. I'll tell you what, it's very hard being me. If only you'd have sat out the 255.
Well, I did.
You'd be
sort of.
flying,
I
wouldn't
did
you?
sort of.
There are people out there going, I'll tell you what, Batch, you didn't sit it out. I bet your horse that fell out the bottom of the telly. Who wins this? It is trappy, isn't it? It's
Yeah. I've looked at Cedar Hill, won at Kelso, December, then had a bit of a blip at Lingfield, which you would forget any horse at Lingfield because of the ground they run in. I've gone for Nero Rock, back to form at Doncaster. Jenny Cavendish, really
Yeah.
good underrated trainer.
Yeah.
And Sean Quinlan.
I like Sean Quinlan a lot.
Yeah.
One of the good guys,
Said
isn't
it
he?
before, yeah, gone up north and just revitalised his career, really. And, yeah, won a couple of big races on a few Saturdays ago.
That
when
time
we was in.
White form's very solid, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's just whether how much he's yet to win over fences. He's a pretty good early one, when right. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
Came
Alan
from Ireland.
O'Keefe in the background as well. Good jockey in his day for Phoenicia.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Are they partners, are they? Those two?
Yeah, I mean,
Cavendish and O'Keefe.
oh, I've said it to his face, but she must do a lot of, with her eyes closed because he's no Brad Pitt.
Says Rat Face McDougall.
Ryan must have seen him.
Alan, we love you out there, man. If you're somehow listening this
Yeah,
and
you're
not saddling
gorgeous,
up your
Alan.
runner,
You're gorgeous.
you can always go back on us. I bet a few jockeys are like, can't wait to match up on that front. Okay, so Nero Rock, Lucky Flight, and the Mouse Doctor, and no bet. Well, you might get involved in running. You listen. You
There's
can
still
get
one-
involved if you want.
There's still one more race to come yet, Dave. at
Oh, let's not
Leopardstown.
go there. We're building up. The gallery is waiting to.
The Triple M.
Yeah, the Triple M. And the interesting thing, of course, people out there who didn't put Chacun Poussoir in and put Sir Gerhard in, which is coming up, of course, on next Grade 1, the champion Novice Hurdle, they'll be thinking, is he the favourite that's going to bust it? There's always one, isn't there?
Let's hope so.
There's always one. Oh, let's hope so, says Graeme Rodway. Could he still, listen, exciting times. We're expecting the Supreme for the ages. It looks like a proper race, Matt, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And
Are you Constitution? Are you John Bon? Are you Sir Gerhard? Are you...
at the minute, with all the races I've seen, Constitution for me.
Looks the business.
Yeah, looks the real deal, yeah. just edges it for me over Jean Bon.
If you think that the horse yesterday, albeit that won the first Sandown, was thrashed by him, I know that it probably was a different horse that we saw yesterday, but
I tell you that nothing would beat that.
is that the nap of the festival for
Yeah,
you?
yeah, nothing would beat
Napped. What rights did you get on?
that. I'm backed him actually. I
Oh,
wish
see.
I had,
Yeah,
but
it's one of
The
those, isn't it?
Constitution.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, nothing to beat that.
You were there the day that he won at the Tingle Creek, of
Yeah,
course.
when he
weren't
won the Tingle Creek, I mean, he came past me like a Rolls Royce. He
Yeah.
was absolutely flying past me, and I was like, it's not often when you're at a track and you go, oh, what is that?
Was you running around the track, G? Or?
I certainly wasn't.
on the inside.
He just came past like an aeroplane.
Yeah.
He was just like, wow, what is that? And yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, all right, okay. We've got Cedar Hill in this, of course, Raymond Anderson Green, a horse that came good, 2 back. He likes this track, I think, so he's not out of it at all. Fangio's in there as well, Brian Hughes, Richard Hobson, needs to bounce back as well, and Sort of Fate is the outsider, but only 12-1 for Lineker and Derek Oisenor Fox. All right, so it should be fast and furious, this sort of thing, and if he gets into a rhythm, I'm hoping Lucky Flight takes it up for the Queen of Scottish racing. Honeysuckle, what do you reckon then?
God, it's blowing a gal over there, isn't it? Look
What,
at
a
the
hoolie?
Yeah,
Ah,
is that what
hoolie.
they say?
Blowing a
That's
hoolie?
what they say in
Blowing a
Ireland.
hoolie.
Oh, or it's in Scotland.
It's
Is that
Scotland, isn't
Is
it?
that Scottish?
Blowing a hoolie.
Yeah.
Let's not get me started on impressions. I'm really not
Blowing
very
a
good.
hoolie.
Blowing a hoolie.
You're blowing a hoolie. Honestly, any of our Scottish viewers out there, I'm terribly sorry about this. Yeah, we.
That was a hard watch, wasn't it? The Scotland-England game yesterday, the rugby.
I was
Oh,
watching
yeah.
Watford Burnley. That was even harder, trust me. Talking about conditions.
If
that
you're
was-
English, anyway, I'm sure if
Yeah.
you're Scottish, you loved it. But
I got a bit excited last night. We kept our first clean sheet in 2 years. There's hope for everyone out there.
Let's hope for
There really is, honestly. There really is. Sinking ship potentially. But yeah, all right, we digress. We're waiting for the penultimate race in this, isn't it? From Musselburgh. There's still plenty of racing going, of course, at Leopardstown when we go off. We'll be back next week. It's you and Posty next week, isn't
me
it?
and Posty, yeah.
Yeah, Ross Bridie's going to sit in for me. I'm going to see Watford Brighton.
Oh, we don't know what he's into.
I
Bridie.
considered inviting you to that, but I thought I couldn't. Nothing worse than Rat-Faced McDougall sitting next to me when we're 3-0
Well, I can
down.
still come, Dave. I'll let these down.
All right, great stuff. And we're off and running then. And where's Brian Hughes? Because he is riding Fangio. I bet he's on a hard puller. Poor old Brian's not had,
No,
not
Sean
had the
Quinlan.
afternoon
Sean
yet, has he?
Quinlan's on the puller. Nero Rock taking a bit of a
Yeah,
tug.
and who else is up there with him? Sarasota
Sarasota
Star.
Star.
Oh, very good horse on his day over hurdles.
Sort of Fate behind him.
Good to see James Best having a proper TV ride as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit sketchy on the inside was the outsider, but again, it's 12-1, the rag here. This shows you what sort of trappy race it is, as Ryan quite rightly pointed out. Mouse Doctor out the back. He'll try and pick up the pieces like Kihava or whatever it was called, the Keatley horse that won a little bit earlier on. What was it called? Kihava. Yeah, I got it right somehow. So he's going for a quick double Ado Keatley, but it's Nero Rock on the inside. G, looking for your no bet at the moment if you were having one.
yeah, he's going quite well, man.
Better than your tipping this week, isn't he?
Jeep on the inside.
I'll tell you, jumped that really well. Fangio, ping that one. That was lovely. I like to see that under Brian Hughes. And actually, he's got a horse that settled all right for once.
Yeah, but he's enjoying that today.
Yeah, Hughesy might just take this
I
out.
don't think
then,
they're going very fast here. They're going about 30 mile an hour.
'cause- funnily enough, they're going 30 mile an hour again, G.
Got the speedometer out.
They are, and 2 are going clear, aren't they? So, I mean, the chasing pack must be doing 20 mile an hour, aren't they? Actually, Cedar Hill is a horse that can take a bit of a tug as well. He's settled quite nicely. Third last at the moment. My Lucky Flight. He again, expecting him to have a say at some point down the home straight. Fences here at Musselburgh.
Couldn't tell you, Dave.
You
Never
just-
been,
was it
never
just
been
the-
over him.
Was it just the one hurdle race?
Just
you
the
had
one
there?
hurdle race,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
second, weren't you?
Yeah, second. Yeah.
But you do maintain. I mean, Posty was telling us a little bit about him yesterday. He said they can be tricky enough. The home straight catches out the tired horses because they start all of a sudden injecting that
Yeah.
pace, and it catches them out about 3 out or whatever. And it's one of these camera angles that I don't like the Musselburgh home straight over fences. I mean, I'm not good as you know out there with telling you what's 3 out and 4 out and all that sort of thing. But the second last, I always think is the last every single time. I should count a bit longer in my head, I suppose. But you're in front now, Batch.
Yeah, he was just doing a little bit too much early doors. And
Saratoga whacked that one.
yeah, and Bestie was just sort of sitting with him, just keeping him revved up. Hopefully he's got a little bit at the end to finish the race off because he's travelling well, jumping well.
Let's come to Ryan McHugh then, because the Mouse Doctor's, he's either niggling away or he's just asking him to catch up a little bit. They haven't gone quick, Ryan. I don't suppose you're in the right place with me out the back.
No, right out the back, the Mouse Doctor. Doesn't look like he's going to get involved from there. Nero Rock is travelling and jumping away fine in front. Looks like he might have got shaken off Sarasota Star as they begin to turn into the straight. He's into 9-4, Nero Rock. They like him in running. Lucky Flight is at the back of the field, but still travels well. The Mouse
Fangio's
Doctor's come back on
travelling
the
well.
bridle a little bit. Yeah, Fancy around the outside backs, but
Yeah.
I think at the moment Nero Rock is looking the most likeliest winner from the front.
I'd be with Fanzio, I have to say now. Lucky Flight getting into it as well. And actually, the Mouse Doctor's just filling his load. They're all going quite
Lucky
well by the
Flight's
rag.
really travelling well.
I'll tell you what, what's wrong with that ground? What's everyone been moaning about these ground? With 3-runner race at Musselburgh and things like that. It's ground that's absolutely fine to me. It's proper just jumping ground, isn't it? Anyway, okay, Nero Rock. This is 3 out, I'm going to say. Oh, Bestie.
Bestie.
Did very well to sit there, but
Lucky
Saratoga Star
Flight is cruising
put another
here,
0
Dave.
on him. Come on, Lucky Flight.
Going
This is my
real
winner,
well.
is it? I don't know. Brian Hughes, though, oh, come on, Lucky Flight.
He's gonna
Lucky
miss.
Flight.
Derek Fox will be thinking, Steve Mulqueen, sorry, will be thinking to
no.
himself, oh no, the run from 3 days ago. Come on, you need to fill your lungs. Batch is still in front. Cedar on
Go
the
on,
inside.
Queen Dog.
Got it
Lucky
wrong.
Flight, no good there. Mouse Doctor, no, totally out of it. Could this be a winner on RP Live for Raymond Anderson Green? Cedar Hill, lovely ride this, isn't it, at the moment for Conor O'Farrell.
Oh, he's flown
Second
the
in the
last.
previous
Yeah, he's flown
race.
the last.
This is all over, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
Lucky Flight jumping again. The problem is he's running on into third. Fanzio flattered to deceive. Nero Rock, once again going to find 1-2 good. Well done, Raymond Anderson Green and team. You've got a really nice horse there. Sandy Thompson as well. He's had a little bit of quiet time, Sandy, as well recently. But with the Ida coming up and races like that, he will be sensing a decent spring coming up, I think, as well. We bid farewell to Musselburgh then. Been really fun over the last 2 days. The sharp track that's up there, I thought the ground looked fine up there. And Cedar Hill absolutely relished it, 1-2 of his last 3. Looked like Nero Rock
Just
second
held on
again.
for. I think he just does a little bit too much in the early stages, and Saratoga Star was, I say, right sitting on his
If you're
girth.
doing too much around Musselburgh, you're struggling, aren't you? Because
Yeah,
you take it to a stiffer track and you're in trouble, aren't
yeah. I think he's there. The winner's just sort of. He's still found a bit up the straight. I think the winner's just found more and outstayed him a bit.
you? All right. Let's bid farewell, though, to Musselburgh. And again, I'm sure we'll be back there before the season's out here on RPL. Yes, we've got Ascot next Saturday, guys, haven't we? Ascot Chase, of course, so the Sodexos and
No,
all that
Newbury
sort of stuff.
next week.
Is it Newbury? No,
Yeah.
Newbury's...
Newbury next
Oh, it is
week.
Newbury next
Betfair
week, isn't
Hurdle
it?
next
Sorry,
week.
it's Newbury next week.
Yeah, Ascot.
And Ascot the one after.
Yeah.
All right, so Betfair Hurdle. Did you fancy one in that? We had it right off from Soaring Glory last year, didn't we?
Yeah,
Is
that
it?
could win it again.
Glory and glory.
Nah, they don't win it back
One
to
more
back,
for the
G.
road.
Who was the Jerry Fielding winner?
Yeah.
Third behind Tritonic.
I think that was a good race, yeah.
Not sure about that. It's a massive day then for Betfair next Saturday, isn't it, Ryan? Will you be sitting in the studios again? I imagine Baz is coming over, is he?
Yeah, Barry's gone over now. I'm actually a rare weekend off for me next weekend, thank God. So I'll be watching it from somewhere, maybe the cinema day, but I won't be watching it from sitting at this desk.
Does that mean
I
that
thought-
Alan's going to do it again then? Does that mean we're going to see
I
Alan
think,
again?
yeah, I think Alan's representing us next Saturday. Yeah,
He's a
so it's a
good
big
lad.
day, obviously, with the Betfair Hurdle. Yeah, I thought if they get plenty of rain during the week, I'm not sure what the forecast is like. Metier would be very interesting around 10-1. After winning at Linkfield, Carrera is obviously running in the race after the next Leopardstown. He was third behind him. I think he'd be interesting, but he does need rain and maybe a stiffer track too. But I think he's still on the up when he gets his conditions. Just going back to that Musselburgh race, I'll just give you 2 in-running lows. Lucky Flight, who ended up finishing third, I think, in the end. Even money he hit. And Nero Rock, who tried to make all, hit 11-10. It's interesting with Nero Rock because he'd been running over 2.5 miles and a little bit further in Ireland when he was over here. They've dropped him back to 2 miles, and he's run 2 good races the last twice, finishing second both times. So he does take a keen pull over 2 miles, and he has the stamina you would have thought to see out further. So I don't know where they'll go with him. He'll pop up someday, I'd imagine, Nero Rock. But yeah, going back to the Betfair Hurdle, really looking forward to next Saturday. Should be a great day.
Yeah, of course, we've got the Denman Chase, Game Spirit and all things like that. Barry teases yesterday, could Brave Man's Game head there then? What race would it be? Surely not the Game Spirit. Champ, of course, prepped for the Gold Cup in that, didn't he, last year? So anyway, can't wait for Monday. Natters with Nichols, you can check that out on Betfair's Twitter feed on Monday mornings. That's always a good look. And it'll be interesting to see whether Paul is brave enough to get Brave Man's Game out next weekend. We've got a bit of time to talk until the Pièce de la Résistance, the Sir Gerhard race, as a lot of people are calling it, the champion Novice Hurdle, of course, coming up. Brave Man's Game, if he runs next weekend, and I said, would it be in the Denman yesterday?
That's what I'm confused about. But he said not the Denman.
So it's Game Spirit then?
Game Spirit.
What's the Novice Chase? Is there not a Novice? Is there a Novice Chase? But, look, I'm
I
not
don't
looking
remember.
at the cards,
I
but
don't think so.
could it go
Not
Game
from
Spirit?
memory.
Could he be an Arca horse? Am I just thinking? Is that Batty?
No, he's not an Arc horse, is he?
What have we got? So I'm looking at it now, guys.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up yesterday, but I
There
couldn't
isn't a
find
Novice
it.
Chase. There's the Denman, there's the Game Spirit, there's the
Spirit.
Betfair Hurdle. What else he get? He could go run in a handicap.
There's
No,
a novice handicap chase, but he
can't
wouldn't
be
run
running
that.
in that, surely.
No.
And at Warwick, it's the Kingmaker, so no.
That'd be the demo, wouldn't it?
Listen, all of a sudden, Monday morning just became highly anticipated, didn't it? Don't miss that. Around about 10 o'clock, I think Barry will be chatting to Betfair Ambassador Paul Nicholls then, and we're being told that Brave Man's Game will be seen potentially next weekend. We thought it would be at Reynoldsdown, didn't we? That's what I thought got in my head, that Ascot was next week.
Yeah. It's
So
got to
you've
be. It's got to be the demo.
I'll tell you who's interesting in that Betfair hurdle, just quickly. LA Bell.
Yeah, I like LA Bell.
I like her for the Mayor's
I do
Novice.
like her, yeah.
She ran well behind John Bond last time in a trappy race, didn't
Yeah, she wants a strong pace.
She does.
Stiff uphill finish.
Well, she's going to get it, isn't
yeah, she should get that.
LA
Shame the
Bell for
Mayor's
Team
Hurdle
Scott.
isn't over 2.5 though, like the real Mayor's Hurdle.
Yeah, because she relished that.
She
wouldn't
would win that.
She would.
If it was 2.5, then Mayor's Novice Hurdle.
I
should
love
win
her, and
that.
I think there's a big one in it. But they, this is Skelton's, the 2-mile handicap hurdles. They love them, don't they? So, and JPR1 is interesting. That for Team Tizard as well.
Yeah,
so
they
I
rate
think
that,
novices
don't
will
they?
win it.
James Stevens always going on about how
I
good
very
they
much
think
like
that
him.
is.
You know, the one day that I backed him was when he got touched off at Cheltenham. I looked right good bet on him that day. Anyway, we digress. Let's move on then, because the champion bumper winner is now coming out to play on a sterling afternoon at the Dublin Racing Festival. Ryan McHugh, we have seen these favourites going in. Every single one, even in the handicap, that fiendish looking race at 2.25 has gone in. What price, Sir Gerhard, now?
177, Dave, so just under 4 to 5. He was odds against last night. Obviously, El Fabiolo was injured in transit and he doesn't run. But he's still all the rage, Sir Gerhard. He was around 10 to 11 when El Fabiolo came out. So he's into around 4 to 5 now. And in truth, all the rest are weak against, as you'd expect. 3 Stripe Life is out to 6 to 1 on the exchange, having been around a 5 to 1 chance earlier. My Mate Mozzie is weak, along with Statuaire, who's a bigger price than My Mate Mozzie. Obviously, she nabbed him late on in the Royal Bond of Ferry House. Both of them haven't been seen since his interest, and that's 70 days ago. And Colonel Mustard obviously brings in a bit of Ascot form into this race. Obviously ran behind John Bond. So I think he's an interesting horse in this, Colonel Mustard. If I was playing one at a price, I'd probably play him each way. It's not a race I've found a bet in though, so I'm going to swerve this. Given I'd be only playing to have a bet. I think Sir Gerhard's the most likely winner, but at this stage, I'm probably hoping that one of these favourites gets beat sooner rather than later for the Wookiees.
Of course, because after this we've got another possible one going, haven't we? And then we've got the bumper in the last, which she could be the female equivalent of Facile Vega. We think pretty in the park. So look, we go off air, but we'll all be tuning in for that. That's for sure. So El Fabiolo, the non-runner. Okay, where are we going down here? I suppose we've got to come to you, G, because Barry quite teased you yesterday, didn't he? The Royal Bond was a day you were not happy with, and we have got a social coming up on the screen. I believe there are some out there for My Mate Mozzie. The Triple M, as G-Rod is calling it. Is Social Corner coming up now? Let's have a look. The guys in the gallery with us. Yeah, David Sheridan says, is My Mate Mozzie, because all the mosquitoes in the Philippines think they are my friends. Let's sting the butties. Hey, watching from the Philippines, David Sheridan. Great to have you with us. Let's sting the bookies with My Mate Mozzie.
Yeah, I think this is the race of the day. Certainly the race I'm looking forward to the most on the day, because I think there's 3 good horses in it, and I definitely don't think Sir Gerhard is anywhere near as far clear as the market would suggest he is. RPRs would certainly suggest that he's not that far clear. I absolutely love My Mate Mozzie. As you know, Dave, I think
too.
that My Mate Mozzie is about the best novice hurdler that Ireland has at the moment. And I'll put him right up there alongside Dynamo, or whatever they call him.
Yeah, that's
I thought that he would and should have won last time, and the Royal Bond, to make it 3 out of 3 over hurdles.
What went wrong?
Well, there were 2 things that went wrong. He was given an absolute stinking ride, in my opinion, by Darragh O'Keefe. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know whether he was told that he had to hold on to the horse and try and settle him.
He was livid on that day.
My Mate Mozzie
blew my WhatsApp was. FFS all the way down.
My Mate Mozzie is a absolute superb jumper of a hurdle. However, he can be a bit free and keen.
You wanted him to go on, didn't you?
And I wanted him to just let him go. Let him go, let him use his jump in and his fast jumping to kick clear in the way that he had done in his previous starts, and they wouldn't have seen which way he go. But instead, after every hurdle, Darragh O'Keefe, either it was his own decision or under instruction from Gavin Cromwell to try and get those settled. After every hurdle, it was right, we'll rein him back and try and settle him. Then he'd fly the next, rein him back, try and settle him. And then the race turned into a sprint up the straight. My Mate Mozzie got first run, and he has not made one mistake over hurdles his whole career, My Mate Mozzie. But the first one he made was at the very last flight. in the Royal Bond, and then he ended up getting run down, beaten a short head by Statuary. If he'd flown the last, there was only one winner. My mate Mossy would have won. Today we've got Sean Flanagan back on. Sean Flanagan was on board at Punchestown when my mate Mozzie flew every hurdle, went from the front. They didn't see which way he went. If Sean Flanagan returns to those sort of positive tactics, lets him go out in front, flies every hurdle, I don't think they'll see which way this all goes. I think this is an absolute machine, my mate Mozzie, and I backed him. He's my second best bet of the day behind McCall, but McCall ended up getting beat somehow, Dave.
Listen, you were close, and you might well get over the line. Have you made the coffee, by the way, during that? You could have done the sangers and
I
everything.
made the roast dinner, Dave.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's my mate Mozzie. Case being made for. Left-handed, fine.
That is a slight concern because when he went at Navan, sorry, I have to say it properly. Everyone gets Narvan.
It's a nightmare. Ryan, how do we say Navan?
Narvan.
How do we say Navan? You just answer it yourself there.
Well, I'll tell you why, because we have a lot of Irish people that don't like how we pronounce it.
I always pronounce it Navan, you know. So, but Narvan, as I'm told, it's he did jump out a little bit. He did jump out a little bit to his right, and afterwards, Gavin Cromwell said we might not go to Cheltenham for the Supreme because we'd be worried about him going out to his right. But we're going to find out today, aren't we? If he does go out to his right, let's hope not.
Shall I give you some stats about this race? There are 2 horses in the last 10 years that have not won their last race and come out and won them. One of them being Champagne Fever, who went and followed up in the Supreme. Of course, the other one being Bleu et Rouge, who caused a bit of a surprise for Willie Mullins in 2016. Apart from that, it's 1-1-1-1-1. The age thing is quite interesting. Up until Appreciate It last year, when Gordon Elliott's horses weren't really firing, he thrashed the field before again another demolition job in the Supreme. Appreciate It became the first horse in a long time to win this race. He also then became the first 7-year-old to win the Supreme since. The silence is deafening.
I don't think I'm going to get that one.
No.
Captain Seaby. And
Right,
before that, you've got to go back to Like a Butterfly, who was an 8-year-old. They used to do it quite a lot, 7-year-olds back in the day. But I don't know, if you're looking for holes in him a little bit, he also stole the champion bumper, didn't he? Everyone was up in arms about how that.
There's loads of holes in Sir Gerhard.
And then he went to Punchestown and Kilcruit and a horse called O'Toole made him look, what he was.
Well, he shouldn't have won the champion bumper. He should have finished third.
I knew he was going to be the 2-miler in their pack because he showed speed that day.
Yeah. He got the run of the race, didn't he? Kilcruit was given an absolute stinker.
I love 3 Stripe Life, who was 4th to him in that race and looked like a horse that was badly unsuited by the way that ran. I just think he's a 2.5 miler.
If you go back and watch the race that 3 Stripe Life finished second to Mighty Potter, the Grade 1 over Christmas, he was incredibly unlucky, 3 Stripe Life, not to win that race because I think he made a bad mistake at the second last, and without that he was running down Mighty Potter all the way to I think he would have won.
They think he will be a Marsh stroke Brown Advisory horse, their horse for next year, 3 Stripe Life. He's a big old boy and he's minding himself.
I'm going to be seriously disappointed if Sir Gerhard wins. I just think that 3 Stripe Life and my mate Mozzie are better horses than him.
Well, he came back finally, didn't I? say finally, because of course it was Nicky Henderson was getting pelters about the ground, wasn't it, when we had the drought over it, but we were also having him in Ireland. And Willie Mullins took a long time than normal to get his horses out.
Got the red hood on, my mate Mozzie,
the flat horses
going down,
which
means don't they have to take that off?
They take it off, as soon as they get to the start.
He looks settled, which is one of his problems. He's too buzzy.
You're getting excited.
I love this horse. I just think this horse is an absolute machine.
I mean, that's coming across.
I really love this horse.
In everything we do.
You watch the way this horse jumps.
Is he going to have to lead? Because Sir Gerhard is a make-all horse, isn't he? When he came on, on St Stephen's Day, Boxing Day as we know it, domestically, he made all, and he won very easily that day, albeit a 2-9 shot. But the third has come out and won. The second has placed since. It's he beat that by 16 lengths. So look, the form is there in the book, isn't it? But I love him as a horse because I just think he's got a lot about him. But I'm a big 3 Stripe Life fan, and I think he's an each-way bet. But I said to Gordon Elliott again on Friday, I said, why haven't you stepped him up yet? And he said, well, it's all about fencing next year for him, and we want to save the trip. Because they if you watch him again in everything he does, he looks like, and he's so impressive in his bumper with Jamie.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's
almost like they don't rate him as much. I know he's in Grade 1 company and he's their choice here, but it's almost like, I don't know, if he went for the Ballymore, I'd be very, very keen on him. But
Yeah, he's got a
Mighty
great
Potter's
chance.
not going for the Ballymore. He shot me down a little bit on that because
See, I thought that Sir
Pieces.
Gerhard would go for the Ballymore and that Dynamo would go for the Supreme.
A
But
lot of people thought this, but
Tom Siegel has tipped Sir
Yes.
Gerhard for the Supreme, and he reckons Dynamo might go for the.
That's how I see it. That's how I've got to be honest. That's how I see it. Again, you look like appreciate it when he got outstayed by Fernie Hollow in the champion bumper. I knew they were going to go 2 mile. If they don't in the bumper, they know where they're going with their novices. I think so.
It doesn't look like they're lining up at the front with my mate Mozzie, which is a concern for me.
Well, because they know Sir Gerhard, they don't want to go running him into the ground.
I'm not sure that my mate.
What
Mozzie
rating
can win
has he
from
got?
back there.
My mate Mozzie. Let's go to Ryan. Actually, give us a market update while I check that out. Ryan McHugh.
Yeah, so Gerhard drifted out to about 1.87, so it was a little bit weak, but then has come in the last couple of moments. Is into 4 to 5 now, 1.8. 3 Stripe Live, 6.6. He's holding his price fairly steady as well. And Colonel Mustard, I'll mention him. He's in at around 17.5 now. He was 22 when you last joined me. There's been a few quid around for him, but so Gerhard, the last few moments has really strengthened up, Dave. Is now into 1.76.
Thank you very much, Ryan McHugh. What a pleasure it's been to have Ryan along the way as well. And Batch, it's been a great day so far. Do you think the Fav just wins this?
Yeah, I think he does, yeah. Okay, he was a lucky winner, maybe a lucky winner of the bumper. His first hurdle run, he's had to do all his own work. He's made all, bit green, but he's just got on and done the job. And
A lot of people will be really hoping that he comes through this with a proper... Because when Constitution and John Bond were heading the market, he was the champion bumper winner at 8 to 1 for that.
I think he's just improving all the time, Dave. He's learning on the job like he did the last day. Today again, I think you'll see, hopefully, more improvement because I do like him as a racehorse.
And if you believe that the Irish do the novice game better than us, as the Cheltenham Festival last year might suggest, this is a race to watch very closely. Replays, coming into the festival. I don't want to say it, but could my mate Mozzie end up in a county hurdle?
They don't look like they're interested in winning this race, Dave. It looks to me like this is another educational race.
What about Statuaire? Are we overlooking her? First time hood on for the Royal Bond winner.
Forget her, she ain't good enough.
All right, okay. Nice, strong opinions. That's what we love. And Colonel Mustard, as Ryan McHugh said, is an important horse here for us because as
I'd say if Statuaire wins, the Irish are going to start panicking about the standard of their novice hurdlers because Dysart Dynamo looks very good, but if you take him away,
she might be another crack mare. She's another 7-year-old actually. Look, I'm just saying that
Henderson's the man this year with the novice hurdlers, isn't he not?
yeah, it's good to see, isn't it? He's a little bit light in the novice chase department,
strong,
isn't he?
You know, he's strong in the novice division.
Unless Dysart, steps up again, but it's hard to see, isn't it? Wants to go left-handed, Dysart.
Dysart was absolutely horrible the other day, wasn't he?
What, Exeter?
Yeah, I know he won, but
He looked like he was getting it together to me. He had such a...
He's
Don't be too harsh on
loads of
Dysart,
talent,
right? Because he had a terrible injury at home. Or apparently his chest was literally... It was awful.
I personally think here that they're going to jump my mate Mozzie off in last, and the aim here is just to settle him and then see where he can finish, and then they'll go from there. I think, judging by the way they've put the red hood on for him to go down to the start, I'm not entirely sure that they're... I mean, obviously they'll try and win this race if he can.
I think he's a handicap.
I don't think that
We're going back to Dysart. Do you think he was a bit
winning
deliberate
this
over some of his fences?
Yeah, he was. But much better than Leicester, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, sometimes they do that if there
And
is
he
niggling
thrashed a
little
horse in
problems.
Nichols. I know Nichols, but...
Nichols is only just starting to run.
Yeah. And look, because he beat Soaring Glory on his debut and he's the half-brother and all that sort of thing, they still retain the faith with him.
Let's not forget what Gavin Cromwell did last year. He had a couple of winners, didn't he? He had Florian Porto, but Vanillier was the horse that won the 3-mile race, and that got beat a couple of times on the way, almost educational with a big day in mind. That to me looks like what they're doing here with my mate Mozzie, which is a little bit worried considering I backed him.
You said that, well, we all know you've backed him, and we've backed him for the Supreme.
I don't like... now they're taking hurdles out.
Here we go.
Oh,
the
this
sunshine is blazing at Leopardstown. Which one is that? Is that the second last?
That's the second last, I think. That sums up the Irish weather, lads. Like last race for Honeysuckle, it was a rain pouring down. Now it's taking out hurdles because it's too sunny.
Aye.
Sums it up.
What can you do? But look, this is the last race of what's been a fabulous weekend here. It's been great to have you along. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, of course. Don't forget that Members Club offer. First 3 months at 15 quid. It's basically just over half price, isn't it? So if you want to get involved or unlimited access to everything we do here at the Racing Post, now's the time, basically. And imperative it will be. We've got loads coming up for you in the run up to the festival as well. Some new shows that we're working on as well. Not going to give you, obviously, take the wraps off them just yet. But it's about to start arting up here. And listen, it's great that you're all back out there racing. Who's going to the festival? Are you so excited? Who's doing all the 4 days? Are you brave enough? This time last year, we didn't know where we were going, did we? So it's a great time to be on
It's
Planet
great
Earth.
to be back, isn't it?
Beautiful. And we should live in the now, I think, which is
And
sometimes
look at the crowds at Leopardstown. That just tells you the appetite.
That is fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And again, at Ascot, you know, when we've seen the clashes, and even over Christmas, you can't see any grass, and that's what you want to see, isn't it? All right. So it looks like Three Stripe Life is going to keep Sir Gerhard warm.
Not happy about this.
Which
You're
is
not happy, are you,
interesting.
G-Rod?
not happy
My
about
mate Mozzie.
He's out the back, G.
He's out the back.
It won't be winning from there.
Blimey.
Can I get my money back on my bet that I've had on it?
Well, you bet a lot of cash these days, don't you? So I
Yeah,
imagine
I
that.
can't,
Is there a cash out button for actual cash?
No.
Probably not. All right, then, the flag is up then. The wind is blowing at Leopardstown for the final race. Here we go. This will be, 19th race this weekend. We've covered you. And the front-running Sir Gerhard just woken up a little bit to get to the front. As expected, Three Stripe Life. Beautiful horse in the making, I think. He's right off his tails at the moment. Colonel Mustard, another 7-year-old. Lorna Fowler, and let's hope that he does well, because that would be John Bomb fans purring as well. What's this... of course, the McKinnon horse that we've not mentioned. The Gatsby Grey. Don't know how good he could be yet, do we? He's taking a tug. Nothing pulling as hard as Watch House Cross. Rachel Blackmore, bar the Queen, of course. It's been a tough weekend for those guys, isn't it? Far out, I should call him, for Jess Stafford, of course, and the Thurlows out the back. And last of all, would you believe it? The MMM.
I can't believe it.
Ryan McHugh, they've got their positions. We've jumped 2 flights. What's the market reacted to?
Surprisingly, Sir Gerhard's obviously in front, and he's drifted from what he went off. He went off 1.64, so it was a late smash up for Sir Gerhard. He's out to 1.73 now, even though, to me, he's travelling within himself, jumped the first few flights well, and everything in behind, bar a couple, are very keen. I think Rachel Blackmore might end up in front after this next hurdle on Watch House Cross. She's very keen. But Sir Gerhard, if you're on him at the moment, he's travelling fine up front. And out the back, my mate Mozzie got in a little bit tight there, but all systems go for Paul Townley at the moment at the front of the field.
Yeah, he's stacking them up a little bit, isn't he? And obviously Davy Russell, who they think they've got a proper Grade 1 horse here in Three Stripe Life, but they don't want to get involved in a battle just yet. And Rachel Blackmore Batch is doing everything she can not to spoil the party and go and take this on.
Yeah, she's holding there, trying to get him back and get him to settle, but he's still just running a bit freelier than she would like to.
Statuette's settled really well.
Yeah.
First time hood for her, and I don't know, we'll see what she's made of course. Who came out on top of the Royal Bond? Sometimes you've got to believe your eyes, haven't we? And Mighty Potter gave that form some substance. My mate Mozzie G.
Yeah, can't win.
Can't win. All right, we're just going to move away from Graeme Rodway, I think, at this point. Let's have a look at Sir Gerhard then closely, Batch. His technique, please. Oh, a little bit fiddly there, wasn't he?
There.
He's just, I think when he's in front, he just has a little look, Dave. You know, he goes in and just sort of changes his stride and goes, and Paul seems to see a stride and he just goes in and pops.
I'd be happy with Three Stripe Life.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, again, he's walked through that one.
Yeah. Just paddle.
How quick do you think they're going, lads? It's hard to tell, I think.
Not quick at all.
I don't think it's quick.
Not quick. I mean, we don't have our 30 mile an hour clock.
The clock's gone.
The clock's gone in Ireland, but the way they're pulling out the back, Ryan, it suggests that not going quick at all. But Three Stripe Life. Even money.
Sir Gerhard.
Finally,
Sir
the even
Gerhard.
money, we've hit it. And Three Stripe Life is really warming up. Colonel Mustard had to think about that one. What is it? Watch House Cross is going back a little bit. My mate Mozzie stuck in a pocket, G. You're still filthy mad?
I still don't think he can win from there, but I mean, he's travelling well. But I think he's settled better than he has done in previous races. But this seems to be all about education with
He's
Mike.
going really well, G. I'll tell you what, he's going to fly home, I think, if he's got anything like the horse we know he is. It's very interesting, this, of course, and Sean Flanagan will be thinking, have I left it a little bit too late? But the favourite is in front, Sir Gerhard. Hugely popular horse out there. They're going to omit this second last, of course. So they're going to go round that one. Here we go. This is where it can turn into a bit of a sprint. And if you're out the back at the moment, Rachel Blackmore's fallen in a hole. The Gatsby Grey's not going. The first two then, they've got the Stolen March. Look, G, you've got, he's got loads left, G. He's just too far back.
I don't know what he's doing. He's
The
miles
big two
behind
in the
big
market,
two
then
have
they
gone
go for it. Colonel Mustard trying to get onto their tails. This is where Sir Gerhard is quick and classy. And he couldn't have got any better for Sir Gerhard here, because he has got that turn of foot. Three Stripe Life trying desperately to get onto him. Lovely horse, but he just doesn't have the turn of foot. My mate Mozzie is consigned to handicap company, I'm afraid to say, G. This is another five going in then if he pops the last. You want to see him do it. Jip, Batch.
Come on.
Oh, again, he's flattened it. Oh, Three Stripe Life is even worse. John Bond, are you watching? We'll get to this afterwards. But Sir Gerhard, the 5th straight favourite of the day, champion bumper winner. What are you all worried about, lads? Everyone's saying. Whew, if you're on the Maltese.
5 on the day, I'll take that.
Nap of the
2
day.
seconds.
You've done well today,
Yeah,
Batch, haven't
done
you?
all right
Ryan
today.
McHugh, he went big in running. That's because he flattened a few.
Yeah, 2.5 Cigar Heart. Hard to know what to make of that, lads. I don't know what you think, but his jumping definitely left a lot to be desired. He never got troubled for the lead. Davy Russell sat a couple of lengths back, but never really put pressure on him. He probably wasn't on the horse to put as much pressure on him, but I'm not sure whether before the race, I would have thought he's a big player in the Supreme, and if he won well, that he'd be warranted of a big cut. But his jumping disappointed me. I'm not sure what race he'll go for after that. He looked a bit when Paul Townend asked him off the back of a slow enough pace, it has to be said. I don't know if he quickened too much. Did he, lads? He looked like he just kind of grounded out from the front. A bad jump at the last as well. So all in all, it was a bit of a John Bonnet performance a while back for me. He won, but he wasn't as impressive as I thought he might be.
It's a funny old race, the John Bond race, obviously the Kennel Gate at Christmas, Ryan. And Colonel Mustard, who was, staying on 3 lengths behind him that day, has finished third here. Strictly on the book, you would have Cigar Heart ahead of John Bond on that. And, of course, Cigar Heart has the Cheltenham tick, that all-important Cheltenham tick. I think he's quick, this horse. I don't think he did grind that out necessarily, Ryan. I think that he got 3 Stripe Life at it, turning in, which they can do, G, can't they, Leopardstown? I know you're livid, because my mate Mozzie has never really shown up whatsoever, has he? But where do we sit? Just put your goggles on, and for the Supreme, what do you do now with Cigar Heart? He's got to have to jump a lot better, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Can't win a Supreme like jumping.
There's the market outlook.
Like that. He's obviously got a huge engine because 3 Stripe Life's probably run to a similar level as when he was beaten by Mighty Potter, and he's beaten him further. So he's going to be up around the 1.48.
He's not winning a Ballymore, is he? Because But you can see why I like this horse, can't you? 3 Stripe Life.
Oh,
he's honest, and he's going to be some chaser.
He's going to be a good long-term future. Can I just read a comment to you?
You may.
A race comment. Towards rear, nudged long 7th, ridden no impression after 3 out, soon became detached, minor headway after 2 out, never dangerous.
Who's that?
Well,
My mate Mozzie.
It could be my mate Mozzie, couldn't it? But that was Vanillier in a Grade 1 Novice Hurdle at Leopardstown at this meeting last year, before he then went on to win a Grade 1 at Cheltenham. That, to me, was a very similar sort of prep to what they've given Vanillier there. They jumped off, they never had any intention of getting close there.
I bet you any money you'll see him in some handicap entries at the end of this
I
month.
guarantee you he will run in a Grade 1 next time out, and they will jump him off in front, and it'll be a different horse. I'm not happy with that. It was some nonsense, that.
Well, it was a funny old race to watch, as a lot of you are saying out there in Chatsville land. Love our community out there, and we've got some really good judges out there as well. And what do you do with Cigar Heart? Obviously, we're going off air now, but Matt, would you like to? Constitution Hill's not worrying, is he? Hendo's like, we could have another bottle now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you can knock his jumping, but he was good at some and a bit novice at others. Again, he's done it the hard way. He's in front. It's another run over hurdles under his belt, and I think his jumping will get better. So listen, yes, it wasn't
only his second run, of course.
It wasn't spectacular, but he's got from. It's only when Paul's really asked him sort of to come up, he hasn't. He's just gone in and put a short one, which, from a jockey's perspective, that's the hardest thing to do. To go in and pop like he did, he was good at that. The rest will come in time. I've got no doubt about that. I've got no worries about that for me.
He doesn't jump well enough to win at Cheltenham, surely.
No, and unfortunately, 3 Stripe Life's probably the same. But I just wish I don't know. Anyway, I think we've got a very nice horse there, as you can probably tell. I'm a bit of a fan of his. But look, this is a champion bumper one who keeps winning, doesn't he? Apart from Punchestown last year, he'd be unbeaten. So, and they loved that. Paul Townend loved it. And listen, we've got the Liffey coming up next, Ryan, haven't we? And there've been some very, very well gambled horses in that. And then we've got the bumper favourite as well. It's been great to have you, Ryan. Will you be hiding behind the sofa come pink in the part-time?
Yeah, well, Emma Mullins has a good record of doing bookmakers out of it, and he's favourite with Carraree in the next. So if Carraree is to go in, but I'm sure we have big liabilities without Carraree in the next. I'd say a lot of people are running onto the filly in the last pink in the park. So if she's to win, it's going to be a shocking day for bookies. It's already a shocking day, but it'll just make it worse. So a lot of punters are cheering on pink in the park in the bumper, around a 5-4 chance at the moment.
Ryan, it's been absolutely superb from our sponsors, Betfair. We'll see you later in the month, old boy.
Cheers, lads.
Marvellous stuff. Batch, great to have you back. You'll be back next week with Posty. They're a great double act, if you don't know, by the way, Batch and Post.
Enjoy your game. I hope you don't get the result you want.
We owe you one, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
We owe you one. And G, it's been a sterling doubleheader from yourself, mate.
Yeah.
Tough weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Wackhall was a bit of a kick in the nether region, and yeah, not happy with that.
Mozzie,
last.
not your mate today, but
Not
might
happy,
still
not
be.
happy with that.
All
With
right.
that in the last.
Great work in the gallery from the guys as well. It was a texty start, but we got there towards the end. And lovely to have you as well. Ross Briley sits in for me next week, but it's Betfair's big day. It's the Betfair Hurdle. Join us 1:30 next weekend.